So are we live or like what's happening right now?
We've been streaming for about 15 seconds.
We did.
Yeah,
we've been
okay.
streaming for
15 minutes of funny faces. Gotcha. All right. So we had arrived back at the end. Sorry about that, everybody. In the audience right now, we are actively having technical issues at the moment. We're going to be keeping an eye on them as we go forward.
I can tell you
will
they're still
keep you
happening
posted.
right now. I can hear you. But it's bearable. I have no idea where it is, but it's bearable.
It's bearable.
Well, I'm going to find Calder Cobb about that breakfast thing.
Sure. As you arrive, you can smell the smells of... Yeah, you can smell the smells of breakfast. There's definitely the smells of some kind of meat being cooked, maybe some kind of roasted potatoes or something, and you can see steam coming from the back room behind the bar. So you know something's happening. If you really, really listen hard, you can hear the telltale tss and sizzle of things happening.
It's not quite ready yet.
Calder turns when he sees you approaching. Mariah, was that breakfast done? And you hear from the back, yup! And so he goes into the back and he comes out with a large tray with several steaming plates.
While that's going on, I actually walk over to the table where Turab is at the moment.
He looks up and sees you. My friend.
Greetings.
What brought you to the tavern today?
I'm returning for breakfast, actually, and that's right about the same time that Calder is like, "Is the breakfast ready?" And then when he comes on, I just kind of point over to him. Could we join you?
Yes. Far be it from I to turn down company on a morning such as this.
And I pull up a chair and I kind of signal to Dax, Mormond, the easily forgotten, and Adavi to come join us.
Is that his phrase now?
Yeah, that is actually his title because his name is actually very
gosh.
to remember. Mormond, the easily forgotten.
As you call the rest of the group over, he lets his chair slide back downwards and takes his feet off the table. And he looks at his book for a moment and then folds one of the corners of the page in and then closes it and sits it down on the table. He goes,
"My apologies. I hope we haven't interrupted you."
"Not at all. I was just taking a little bit of time to enrich the mind as you are about to enrich your bodies."
I grin.
He shouts over, "Calder, breakfast for me as well." And Calder does his standard salute and grunt to let him know that the food has been ordered.
Have I got my food now?
Indeed. As you sit down, Calder comes over and sits the tray down on the table. And while the smell has been taking over the room, you do note that the portion sizes seem a bit small. Not concerningly small, but enough to corroborate the information that was given to you by Mary Shelby that indeed harvests appear to have been poor or that food seems to be in a shortage. It's enough to make a breakfast by, and in fact, along the side of the plate, you can see several small sausages. There's what appears to be a pretty decent pile of like roasted potatoes of some kind, like a red potato with some pepper and salt on it, and then a small portion of eggs as well has been put on each plate. But aside from that, this is not really the breakfast that you would expect from a lot of inns on the mainland where they would just throw food at you.
I don't know what you're talking about. This meal is massive.
Yeah, I was going to say, would this be a small meal for? Well, it might be for Davy because he eats like 3 or 4 regular person's breakfasts. But would this be a small meal for Nosson?
Yeah, this would be a small meal for...
It would be a small meal for us all.
It's more than a snack, and it's definitely a meal, but it's not like the large, huge helping you would expect from like a bed and breakfast or from like an inn or a tavern that specifically you would paid your money at and expected like your big meal or whatever. The portions seem to be about halved by comparison to what you would expect.
I was going to say maybe that'd be okay by dwarf standards, but then that's still a little bit lacking. But yeah,
it's a tiny bit skimp.
Yeah, as the conversation's going on, I'm just like,
for a moment. And it's clear that the realization is playing across my expression. I look up and I nod to the innkeeper. Thank you. This will do wonderfully.
He nods. You're welcome. Sorry about the. I'll just come out and say it. Sorry about the portions. I know you're on the guard's payroll right now. When he says this, even to Rob kind of looks at him for a moment, but he doesn't like give any expression. To show that he's interested or anything. He just kind of seems as though he's noticed the information. Like I'm sure you've heard since you've arrived, things have been a little rough in Woodley, but been having trouble finding access to eggs and some other things. Potatoes we got plenty of, though, so if you want more potatoes, by all means, let me know. And he slides the plates across to each of you.
I give him a very loud, more potatoes.
Yes, please.
He chuckles and nods. Everyone loves potatoes. He grumbles as he walks away.
He's not wrong.
I
Brad.
cast a Davi more than Dax. Dax doesn't really get this treatment, but Norton definitely casts to a Davi kind of a withering look. There are others in this town who are going to need that food.
Give him a big grin, and I take one of the red potatoes and start chowing on it.
You, most of all, can suffer skimpy portions for a day or two, my friend.
I would wither in seconds without food. Proper nourishment is necessary.
I can't help but grin. I'm clearly trying to fight it. I just kind of, oh, well. I look down to
well, we are stuck here as long as everyone else is.
But how long have they been stuck here with these portions?
So
at least we ate relatively well on the ship.
It's true. Perhaps we can find decent food in the croft.
You are headed to the Croftwood.
Indeed, yes.
Even Sharab sits up in his chair. The Croftwood. Have you ever been there before?
No, we just arrived yesterday.
A curious place. Every time I go through there, I am further convinced of the oddness of this island.
What do you know about the croft?
Yes, indeed. Tell us some tales. I settle in. Start eating.
One hears and sees many things. There are tales of great lizards that live out in the forest, that demand things of travelers. There's tales of a group of druids who live out there, who collect their payment in the ears of rabbits. It is truly an odd place. Make sure you've plum wine, yes? He smiles widely.
Actually, we were hoping to come across some before we traveled. Do you know where to acquire
We
them?
have heard that it is all but a necessary toll for entrance into the Croftwood, or at least for returning once you've entered it.
He smiles. I am not so sure. I am of the opinion I've spent a bit of time watching people go in and out of the Croftwood, and they all make the plum wine offering. I'm not sure what function it holds. However, everyone seems to be dedicated to the task, so who am I to tell them otherwise? He looks at you for, Dax, are you going to tell everybody that you bartered for the plum wine?
Oh, did
In
I?
the previous episode, I recall you used a persuasion check, and the merchant said she'd be holding on to it for you on credit or something like that.
Yeah, that's okay. I was like, did there's something about plum wine, but I checked my character sheet, but I didn't have it on my character sheet because I bartered to pick it up later. Yeah. I go.
Actually, the hangover's leaving now. I remember we talked to the merchant, and she said that she could get hold of some plum wine for us if we could get permission off the lieutenant to pay for it as a travel expense.
Wow, that is actually some very welcome, good news. Well done, Dax.
It was mostly Mormon. He's got away words, that one.
I grin at that. There's clearly a lack of belief in my expression as I slide my eyes across and look at Mormon.
I would like to roll deceive.
All right, roll deceive.
I would like to roll intuition.
Yeah. Thing is, I can't remember what happened, so I don't know did I say anything, or is he just coming up with that?
Yeah, you drank so much you
You rolled a 9. Let me see what my insight tells me. I rolled a 25.
He is definitely
insight,
lying,
yeah.
no son.
Yeah.
He is
I'm suppressing
definitely
a laugh.
lying.
Your mouth opened. It was like, yeah, that's the sort of shape of a mouth that is about to spill out a river of poop.
I shake a fork
that is
of some
speciesist.
scrambled eggs at. I shake a fork at some scrambled eggs at Dax. I don't say anything though. Big grin though.
I see. Play with words. Yes. Of course you do.
Even Hirab looks at you for a moment. He's like, I hope you do not mind, but I am friends with Ursula, and she said something about you looking for black pearls or something of the kind.
Yes.
I look at him and say, wow, small town, I suppose. Word does get around quite quickly in these sorts of places.
Out of
Raises
character
a hand
question,
and nods.
How large a town is Woodley? Like what pop?
Most of the people that you would find in Woodley are going to be relocated to the fields that are outside. It's a farming area, so the city itself is home to a small number of people, more so now that there's refugees coming in. I'd give you a rough population of maybe like maybe 500 to 1,000 tops that live inside the city limits, but there are loads and loads of people that live outside in the fields that surround, and so that's where the biggest part of the population is going to dwell.
But she speaks true. Yes, we are looking to acquire some black pearls.
I do not mean to speak out of turn, but she told me that she told you that she had sold her last string to Palomine Greywald.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
I looked to Dax to confirm, because I'm a little bit sketchy on that particular conversation. I wasn't really a part of it. But as he starts to nod, I nod emphatically. It's like, yes, that is exactly what they said.
I regret to inform you that Palomine Greywald has been dead for some time. The Weeping Rot took him a few weeks ago.
Oh,
That is quite unfortunate.
That's really unfortunate. However, this does mean that we now no longer know where these black pearls are. Is his wife still?
I think. Yeah, I think he gave them to his wife. So do you know about her?
He nods. He goes, yes, Palomine was somewhat well known for giving gifts to his wife. A man of no small means, he was constantly buying things from Ursula for her. Chances are, if you find her, you will find the black pearls.
So can I just clarify this? We need the black pearls for a very important mission, and the black pearls were one of the last gifts that he gave his wife before he died.
Man's wife, yes.
And we want to ask her if we can have these black pearls.
Nothing is ever simple. I shovel some potato into my mouth.
He looks as though he's going to think. He looks as though he's thinking for a moment. And he says, I will admit, your situation does not seem to be an enviable one. But if it makes you feel better, I know where she is. And he lets off a big smile.
That would be very, very helpful. Tell me, this... I'm terribly sorry, I do not know her name.
She has taken back... She has taken back her maiden name now that her husband is gone. She loved him very...
Quick.
Yes, that is the way of the farm folk. She will probably remarry in the next few weeks just to keep her land and everything tied up under her name. She's gone back to the name. It was Anna Greyvold was her married name, but now she goes by Anna Goodwife. I suppose she's some salesmanship in the naming of herself. I've no idea. But I've seen her. She's fairly distraught about the loss of her husband. But as I was leaving my prayers this morning from the temple, I saw her come and go into the crypt, more than likely to go and visit his place of interment.
She's really distraught, and we want to go to the crypt to ask her
I think that
if
is
we
out of
can
the
have...
question. But it may be that she will return home. Do you happen to know where her residence lies?
Yes,
I assume
I
it's
do.
within the city.
I can take you there if you desire.
It may be better. Perhaps. And I look across the decks. I'm clearly pausing for a moment as I consider something. Dax, might it be possible that you could furnish a request for an audience? Something formal looking. It is probably best if we don't simply turn up on her doorstep. Four strange fellows asking after something.
Sure. What sort of request?
A request for an audience, that's all. Just a formal request to visit her. It might give her some time to prepare. No doubt she will put on airs and graces and leave some of her grief behind if she thinks she's going to be entertaining guests, but it's hard to do that if she's just come back from the crypt after visiting her husband.
Okay, I think I can manage something.
I assume that you've got your papers and that we saw you getting it on the way back because you said you'd do it on the way back, which is why I was asking you.
So, yeah.
That's fine. Yep.
Yeah, because Norton wouldn't necessarily know that it was for forgery, but would have just noted, oh yeah, he's buying writing supplies. Okay, well, would you be just to put it in there because there seemed to be a little bit of confusion why he was asking Dax. It was literally
no, I was
the other one with
processing how I could get a good thing in my head. Sure. Okay.
Well, if you want to plan the rest of your things, I will be back in a few minutes after I make a cunning plan.
And with that, I take the last 2 potatoes that I haven't eaten, the extra ones I got given, and I wrap them up in like a napkin, and I rush out.
He has a cunning plan, everyone.
I'm not sure that I'm glad to know that he has a plan. I just wanted him to write a request for. I wave it off. Could you tell us a little more about his wife? Is she a woman of means herself, or was she furnished with her lifestyle as a result of her husband, or the other way round?
As I understand it, her husband came from the mainland, somewhere down south, probably from Turab like myself. But he was a man of means on the mainland. She was just a farmer's daughter, as far as I know, although this is all rumor that I am operating on now. When she married into his family, she appears to have gained access to his resources, which he brought with him from the mainland. They appear to have loved each other very much. It is unfortunate what has happened to her husband.
I will be honest. It's a shame that you're giving us this information. It would have been significantly easier if she wouldn't miss the pearls, but it sounds more and more as though she will, for many reasons, not least of which the fact that they were a gift from her late husband.
Yes, circumstance does seem to be edging up against you, my friend.
It always does. We live in interesting times.
Before we bother her, it really sounds like it would be an extreme inconvenience. And there's no need for that if we don't have to. Is there anyone else who may also have some black pearls?
You talked with Ursula, yes? She is the only one that would trade in such things.
I wasn't there myself. Moment, do you remember what Ursula said to Dax? Did she hint that anyone else might have had them? Or were these the very last that she could place?
I believe she said that these were the last that she had, so maybe she had more before then. At some point. But she did say that they were very rare here.
That is unfortunate. Well, we'll have to do what we can. Tell me, my friend, do you know anything of her character?
Not specifically. I do not think I have ever had a conversation with her, nor her husband, if I am to be honest. No, I am not entirely sure. I am sorry to say.
Thank you anyway. Perhaps we will find that she is more agreeable than we imagine, especially if we can impress upon her the need. Still. I fall into my thoughts, and after a moment I signal the innkeep for a drink. A half ale, please. I look to the others. Would any of you like a drink?
Well, if you're offering.
Davi?
I do not wish to drink.
Eben, give me just a moment. Given my knowledge of that area, is it first name or last name that would typically be used in a kind of informal, not yet good friends kind of setting?
You would probably just go with Eben because it's a nickname. That's not even his real name. It's just what people start.
Hello?
Hello?
Here we go. I didn't hear Splat.
Splat?
Splat, have you died?
Splat?
Splat!
Splat!
Splat! Dun dun dun! Time paradox.
Am I still here? Or
Yeah,
am I-
you are. Hello.
He's back. He's back.
I have no
everybody.
idea what's going on. This is very, very strange.
It's the fog.
Look at one of those creatures in the eye.
Yeah.
So what happens? They steal your voice.
I'm just gonna say that today's problems have been
that's
all
Ursula.
Skype related. So hopefully Skype.
That makes me feel a lot better. If it's not my end and it's not because I haven't changed anything on my system, so.
It's Skype.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah, Ibn Turab is like a nickname that they gave to him. So that would be, you could call him Ibn, you could call him Turab, which is the name of an entire country. Essentially, it just means from Turab and Turabian. People latched onto it since that's where he was from, and that's just what they call him now. It's not even his real name, as far as you'd be able to, like, you would know that just based on general knowledge. It'd be a really, really odd name.
Okay. Well, in that case, then, Ibn, are you drinking?
Oh, it is a bit early in the morning for me, but please, enjoy yourself.
Indeed. It's worth noting that half ale is effectively, in like medieval settings, basically water that is alcoholic enough to have killed anything bad in it.
Oh, I had no idea.
It's why ships had grog when they went for long voyages and stuff, because you can keep it for
Super
ages.
low alcohol, but basically sterile and otherwise safe to drink for a very long time.
They used to put citrus in the grog too to keep you from getting scurvy.
Yeah.
Scurvy.
So just putting it out there, every time he's been asking for half ale, he's basically saying, yeah, give me water, without asking for water, because that would be kind of weird in most circumstances.
He'd be like, well, we have rainwater that we use for other things, but...
Okay.
I'm headed to the lieutenant's, by the way.
Ooh.
Oh, you're headed for the lieutenant's office.
Yeah.
We'll just make a conversation at the table then, you know, and definitely at some point, and also would steer the conversation to Rob and generally talk about Turab and perhaps, you know, talk about his where he's been for the last several years in Myanmar, just generally chat about the mainland, I imagine.
Sure.
Good old
You make
times.
small talk for the next little bit as we jump over to what Dax is doing. So, Dax, what are you doing?
I go to the lieutenant's, ask him the guys,
Is he in?
Yeah, lieutenant's here. They motion you inside.
Thank you very much.
I walk in,
Hello there, Lieutenant Admiral, and I...
He stays seated. You see him recline pretty deeply in his chair, actually. He's just essentially slouched like it was a rough night, or maybe just an early morning, or maybe he's just, like, napping or something. You're not really entirely too sure. But he sees you and, hey, what can I do for you today?
Well, we've been making some progress on the backhound issue. It's definitely a nasty thing. Definitely not normal. Definitely something
You see, when you say
on.
the black hound, the guards in the room do the little symbol
Oh, for
thing.
God's sake.
See, it's not just me. I keep telling them. See, you're annoying the visitors too. Stop with this shit.
Anyway, firstly, a few things.
I just bring him up to speed with generally what happened last night. I don't mention anything about possession. I just mention stuff like the fact it was mostly incorporeal, etc.
Okay,
just
do you
sort of-
mention the requests from Mary Shelby?
I'm getting to that part now.
Okay.
So firstly, we need to make a little trip into the Croftwood. That's okay. I assume that the quarantine extends to beyond the Croftwood, sort of the boundary at the far end. To do that, we need
nods.
plum wine, and I've managed to procure some on the basis that I can get your permission that it comes out of the expenses. As far as I understand, plum wine is needed to get into the Croftwood.
He rubs his forehead for a moment. So the first request you're gonna make of me is that I buy you liquor. All right. Well, I'm aware of the superstition. What is this going to cost me?
I understand that the merchant involved, Ursula Fenwick.
Did she give me a proper price or anything? I haven't got anything written
She
down
did.
for it.
I think she said 25 gold. That's
Right.
what she said, I think.
Ursula Fenwick said 25 gold, as far as I'm aware. Of course, I've not been able to procure any other plum wine in the entire village, so...
Yeah. It was actually, I think it was the fat merchant, the one that was sitting with Ursula, although I don't specifically remember his name, unfortunately.
His name was Fat, okay?
He wasn't given a name because it's not written down, otherwise I'd write it down.
Cool. But yeah, it wasn't Ursula herself. She's the gem vendor. You got it from the wine vendor. Yeah. I would assume the price of that shit's gone up quite a bit since the quarantine was enacted and whatnot. Seems every Every dumb bastard wants to go into the Croftwood needs to pull some of that shit out on a trail in front of it. All right, 25, man, that's a bit of my operating expenses.
I understand, but I'm sure a lot of your operating expenses go into looking after the plague and the quarantine and stuff.
And, why are you going into the Croftwood, if you don't mind my asking, since I am apparently paying for your expedition?
We believe that the spirit of the hound, the dog, is somehow connected to an object that is there. And we're going to go find that object and hopefully remove it, or destroy it, or whatever.
Burn it.
Possibly burn it.
That might be a little bit of a problem.
What?
I've been keeping this to myself over the last week or so because I didn't want to start a general panic. But the Croftwood Circle and I, well, they appear to be a little bit pissy at us down here on Woodley as of late.
Well, we will be as sneaky and as subtle as something
That's a
that is
supernova.
sneaky and subtle.
I
As a
don't think
hellpack.
you quite... He chuckled for a second. A hellpack, eh?
That's a good one. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're quite grasping the situation. We are no longer on speaking terms.
Oh.
And since they run the northern border at this point, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt since you haven't been here long. But the Croftwood Circle are not a group of individuals to be trifled with. I haven't really gotten to the bottom of what they're so upset about just yet. But I've been meaning to send an envoy. Your safety is not guaranteed if you go into the Croftwood.
Well, I will pass
At
that along
this
to the
point-
group. If you want, we can also act as an envoy for you, should we see them, and deliver any sort of missive you want.
Sure. I'll give me a little bit of time to fiddle with this one. I'll see if I can send a messenger out there. Come check back with me tomorrow,
Sure.
and I'll see if they've sent anything back by a pigeon or whatever the hell those weird animal folk use to deliver messages. Paper
Okay.
ain't good enough for him. He seems to be going off on a tangent about how paper isn't good enough for him, and
Thank you. But we do need...
And I hand him a little slip that I've written, which effectively says, I, Lieutenant Adbro, will pay the amount 25 gold pieces due for the plum wine to the bearer upon receipt of this, blah, blah, from the treasury. And then I leave a blank space for the signature and just hand it to him just so that he can sign that.
Just a heads up, it probably doesn't matter. Chat is saying that Dax, your wonderful negotiating skills had brought that plum wine cost down to 20 gold instead of 25.
Oh, 20 gold then. Oh, excellent.
Ooh.
It says 20 gold then.
cost
By the way,
reduction.
both to EE and Splat, Bentham and Shen and I, we got logged out of Roll20, and we've been trying for the last 7 minutes to get back in.
can't
It's
get into
finally let us
Roll20
back
either.
in. Finally
Yep,
let
I
us
got back in.
Just completely refreshed. There we go. Everyone's joining.
Okay.
Just wanted to
Man.
let you know before
The
any
technical
rolling
issues
started.
today. The technical
know.
issues are just like
I
when it
know.
rains, it pours.
That just
The
that just
internet's
means
dying.
any-
That's
Someone
what it
didn't
is.
just look into one of those things' eyes. They licked it.
Someone cast the spell Destroy Internet.
Yeah, it's bad today.
Why would you ever cast that? That sounds like a terrible idea.
You need to
That's
put
like,
the internet back
I
on
don't
the
know,
top of Big Ben.
explode my own lungs. Because
He takes the paper and slides it across the table with his fingers out like that and looks at it for a moment. All right. Come back tomorrow and I'll have everything filled out and hopefully I'll have a response from the circle about whatever it is they are up in arms
Okay.
about.
If it's okay, could we... I did say to the merchant that we'd buy it quickly. I don't think they want to hold on for it for too long. So is it okay if we can just take that parchment now and head out and procure the plum wine?
Persuasion check.
Sure.
Come on, persuade the shit out of him. Persuade his pants off.
what? That
No.
escalated quickly.
Yeah, I want some plum wine. Also, can you get naked?
You're wrong. You're wrong, Shen.
It must mean something different in Britain. Here, when you say, persuade his pants off, or not persuade, but just anything, their pants off, it just means do it, so much that you impress the hell out of them.
The lieutenant looks unconvinced. He's like, listen, I'm not going to. I enjoy having you all acting on my behalf, but I'm not going to send you to your deaths unnecessarily. I'm trying to protect you right now. So give me 24 hours. Come back tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll have the money for you. I'll send a runner over to the merchant. She'll hold it for you. My name holds a lot of weight around here, I promise. She'll hold on to it for you. And then come back tomorrow morning, and I'll let you know if I got my response from the circle.
Very well.
I just don't want you all walking into a wall of arrows and nothing like that. They can be a tad prickly when it comes to conversations that aren't on their terms.
Yes, arrows can definitely be prickly. Thank you very much. We've also got. Do we want to ask about the leaf stuff? Unfortunately, I was half out of that conversation. I was dealing with audio issues.
Oh, I got the impression that I would find it easily enough in the Croftwood.
Okay, in which case I haven't bothered to ask about any of that.
Oh well, thank you very much. By the way, I know this seems a little bit early, but when we were asked and given the pay to deal with these issues, no one said anything about it being a spectral hound made of nothingness that can't be damaged by swords.
He looks as though. So you found proof of the thing, eh?
Well, put it this way. Neither arrow nor sword happened to go into it and damage it. They both passed straight through. Looks like magic can damage it, but...
Yeah, Mary had said something about that when she sent over a report.
Yes.
All right, I suppose you done all right. And he produces 20 gold coins from the chest and slides them across the table. All right, it seems like you've done okay. There's a little bonus for you.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
You're going to distribute those among your friends, correct?
On my honor.
On your honor. If they show up asking to get paid too, I'm going to come straight to you.
I doff my cap. I don't really have a cap. I have a little leather cap. That's fine.
I doff my hairpiece.
You pull one of your ears forward and let it ping back up.
Well, thank you very much. I was merely going for a slight increase in our pay raise, but that's what do very, very kindly. Thank you very much. Is there anything else you want us to look out for?
No, just keep feeding me information as it comes along. Anything you might be working on is important to me. So, I gotta know you're justifying that paycheck, otherwise I'm about to cut you loose.
Do not worry, we will do our best. Now, we did want to ask someone about some stuff we had procure. However, there seemed to be some sort of tentative situation regarding that. Would it be possible to get a small letter from you saying that we're looking into certain things on your behalf and effectively that, we're not defrauding people or anything, that we're here on your orders just to ask a few questions. We don't want to, put people at edge. I know how it can be being a stranger in a town, and especially being, the prejudice that I get as one of my kind.
Has it been a problem so far? Has anybody refused to work with you?
Luckily not so far, mostly because we've been offering them money for plum wine, or they've been personal friends of yours. But I tend to believe in better safe than sorry. And, making precautions before things happen. It's better prepared than not.
Yeah, I'll say so. You seem to be making my workload a little bit heavier. Yeah, I'll have that for you tomorrow, too.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Does he have anything with writing on his desk?
Nah, he's just chilling right now.
Okay, worth a try.
Good day to you, sir.
He will try every time he comes in.
Oh, yeah,
every
no, I
single
will.
time.
Why do you think I
Every
wanted to
single
check from
time.
him for that stuff? I wanted his signature.
Collect them.
And I leave.
Okay. You head back to the tavern. Meanwhile, the rest of the group has been hanging out, making small talk with even two Rowd.
While on the way back, I check if there's a notice board.
Sure.
Is there one?
Yeah, I would assume there would be over by the market, kind of where the tent city is at.
What interesting writing is there? And anyone of note? Any missives or anything?
No, there's nothing super specific. There's one from Mary Shelby urging people to come meet at the temple and come together during times of darkness and something along those lines. It's traditional, religious urgings that you've seen in other towns. Alternatively, there is a note there from Adborough, which appears to be the warrant for the arrest of the Bowerstone Boys, who appear to be some kind of gang of brigands that's around. The reward for their capture is upwards of 75 gold pieces.
Whoa.
And they're wanted for, apparently, knocking over caravans.
So how many of them are there? What does it say about them? And is that living or dead?
It says either or, living or dead. It says dead or alive.
Okay.
Specifically, how many are there is unspecified. It's just implied that they are a gang. So there could be a number of them.
And it's upwards of 75, which is like 75 and there's extras, or is it just...
It should just be the 75, although if you end up coming across anything pertinent, it seems as though bringing it back might be a good idea, considering the bankroll that this guy seems to have.
Okay, cool. In which case, I study that carefully, commit that to memory, along with his handwriting.
Sure.
You really think he wrote that himself?
No, I'm betting it probably wasn't his handwriting. Does it have a signature at the bottom saying,
yeah,
like...
It has a signature at the bottom.
In which case, I memorize the signature. Is it the same handwriting as the rest of the thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go. Cool! So yeah, and I head back to the inn.
Sure. As you walk in, you see the rest of the group still engaged in conversation. Even to Rob seems to be pretty happy about it. It seems as though he might not get a ton of conversation, and he seems to be more or less invested in the whole thing. He's leaning on his elbows across the table, chatting with everybody, generally just being amicable.
Guy who walked up to us off of no reason and talked our ear off doesn't get much conversation.
Yeah, he's desperate for it. And it wasn't no reason. He saw Nasan's robes. Not a whole lot of monks around here, from what you can gather.
Oh, I see. So he's jobbist. Anyone who's not a monk, he's not interested in talking to him.
Mm-hmm. Filthy jobbist.
Well, I imagine that Dabby strikes an interesting pose, since he's kind of got the same-ish robes, kind of. They're just different colors.
Far more garish.
8 times larger, at least.
Oh, hey guys. Right. I've got some information.
Your small friend is back.
Don't call me small. I've got some information. Apparently, not that anyone told us this, but someone's been knocking over caravans in the area, and they could possibly be hiding out in the Croftwood. Did you hear about that?
We heard that caravans were having trouble getting in and out of the city, yes.
I thought that was just quarantine. Oh. That's because the Bowerstone Boys, which is a gang of unknown number of personage, have been attacking caravans. There is a bounty on them of 75 gold plus. The plus being if you find anything interesting. And I imagine...
Seem you become at least twice as interested when you mention the price.
Since the one route for caravans is through the Croftwood, I imagine they are in the Croftwood. That could end up being pertinent. Also, the actual, people who run the Croftwood, are having a bit of a dispute with the people who run Woodley, and that they aren't really on the best of terms right now.
Even to Rob was
the
concerned
druids?
at this.
Yes.
Do you mean the druids?
I said, well, we'll get the plum wine and we'll go in immediately. And then I was told that he was actually going to try and smooth things out with the druids, because if we went in now, we'd be greeted with a hail of arrows. I didn't really fancy that one.
It doesn't
Liking
sound
these
like
druids
a-
less by the minute.
What kind of dispute results in
He didn't say.
effectively a war?
I did ask, but all I got was there's just a little bit of a dispute going on. I guess maybe it's the quarantine or something.
Why hadn't we heard this already from the others who've mentioned it? Surely that would have been...
I think that would have been pertinent information to know, but apparently we only just found it out now. We won't have the plum wine until tomorrow at the earliest, because that's when he's going to pay for it. He won't pay for it yet, because he's going to send a runner and an emissary and stuff to go talk to the druids.
That is unfortunate.
Yes, it's very unfortunate. The good news, though, if you can consider it good news, is that if you want me to, I can write up a letter from the lieutenant saying that we need to talk to our lovely Anna Goodwife about said pearls, and maybe we have a reason that we need to see them.
Write a letter from the lieutenant?
I have...
Lieutenant, stop infecting my language.
Well, you see, all writing has a common root. And sometimes
As he
that
starts
root
his
is a quill.
explanation, first and
sometimes
foremost,
that quill is in my hand.
I'm just gonna write. I'm just gonna insight to just see immediately whether I can tell he's about to tell me he's just gonna forge it.
No, I'm literally like saying I'm forging it. I'm just being
I got a
very round
22.
about how I say it.
Yeah. So very early, I'm assuming that I can more or less just jump straight to the cat from the sort of wow. I was like, yeah, I can see where this is going immediately. In which case, I'm turning my attention immediately to Ibn Turab, and I'm going to try and see how he's reacting to this information.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled an 18 on my inside there.
Okay.
I'm having too much fun with all these extra potatoes that I'm
Oh,
oblivious.
that reminds me. On the way back, Splat, I gave the two potatoes I took out to some of the kids who were running around and looked like they're malnourished.
Okay, sounds good to me. Even to Robbie, you can't read him really. It's almost as though he's stone-faced. Like, you can tell he's taking in information, but he doesn't give any inclination as to an emotional response to it.
Okay.
If you're paying attention, Mormon doesn't bat an eye.
Oh, even
You're
still
cheating,
here. Sorry, didn't see you there.
Were we still interested in going to the Greywald house?
Well, given that we have nothing else that we can do now, perhaps we should. At least we can make some progress in these matters. And I kind of look a little bit perturbed at Dax and almost offer a half shrug that conveys sorry.
Wouldn't it be the Goodwife house? I ask even.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Wouldn't it be the Goodwife house?
I suppose it would at this point. He smiles, making the assertion kind of sink in. Now that there's no longer a Greywald around, I guess it would be the Goodwife house. Either way, she's sure to be home by now. It has been, a good hour since we began our conversation. Let's go.
Indeed.
With that, he stands up and takes his staff and, not really leaning on it, just tapping as he walks.
Mr. Eben, do you have any, prior, relationship with this woman that might be able to help us out? Like, if you talk to her regularly, or...
I have not. I only know about her husband due to the fact that I am friends with Ursula, and he appears to have been one of her better customers buying gifts for his wife.
Ah, okay. Well, on what basis are we going to give her a reason that she might want to give us the pearls? How are we going to
He
approach
looks for a
this?
moment at you, and he breathes out heavily, goes, well, I have found in situations like these, sometimes it is best to just tell the truth.
Indeed.
And he offers you kind of a knowing smile. I do not know what you wish. Did you mention the black pearls to him?
Oh yeah, we had mentioned them.
Okay.
That's
I do
why
not
we-
know
Yeah.
what you plan to use these black pearls for, but be honest with her. Perhaps that would work. And with that, he opens the front door and starts to walk outside, holding it and watching and waiting for you all to approach.
As I turn to go, I give Dax a clap on the back. It was an interesting idea, though. I had just meant a request for an audience. There's no need to go to such lengths.
I thought you were wiggling
Just
your
to know.
eyebrow. You have request for an audience. Sorry.
I see.
However, should this attempt fail, maybe I can go in and
I pull out my fulsome stash from my disguise kit.
I can be James Bard, lawyer extraordinaire. Maybe something to do with the settlement of the finances?
I'm looking at this point. My gaze is drifted away from Dax, and it's the moment, and it's like oh.
And you can get back a look of the how.
I'm following Ibn out the door at this point. I'm going to mention to him that I hope she has no great attachment to the pearls, because there is nothing that I think she'd be willing to barter for something that she cares for from her dead husband.
He nods. He goes, well, in situations like these, let me assume for a moment that you are up to good works with the pearls. Perhaps if you let her know they might go towards some greater good, she would be more willing to part with them.
At this
As I
point,
understand that she has no limit of jewelry from her husband.
I'm catching up to both Ibn and Davian and catch the tail end of that conversation. Indeed, perhaps she will draw some comfort knowing that the last gift from her husband went on to achieve great things for the betterment of the whole of Woodley. It might be a small consolation. At any rate, we should make our way there as swiftly as possible.
As we're walking, I say, as you say something before we set off, it's just going to be while we're on our way there. I say, well, the way I see it, our main issue is that she really cares about this object. So maybe we should tackle that. Black pearls, bit of a strange item, really. Some might consider them cursed. Not such a nice thing to possess.
Mormond, I thought better of you.
Eben too raises an eyebrow.
It's for a good cause.
Can I roll history and see if there's any kind of connection with black pearls typically being a bad item, or would that be arcana or what? Religion.
I'll go with history. Let's do history. History lore and see what happens.
See, I heard this story once about black pearls being
I had no
terrible,
idea.
like fortune for
Never seen black
sailors,
pearls.
and
Black pearls?
they were owned by these undead people.
I have no idea what black pearls are.
No, you barely even know what a pearl is. You think you've only seen one like maybe one time, and that was a white one.
Didn't even know they could be black. This is all new to me. I think they've just probably been painted.
They're painted, yeah. They're dipped in oil.
After about a 10 to 15 minute walk towards the northwestern wall of the town, you arrive at a house that definitely appears to be a better means. If you were expecting something palatial, though, you're a little bit offset because you thought it was going to be much larger, like a mansion. However, it is a 2-story home that appears to be quite a bit larger than the house that other people in town are dwelling in. It's got the standard front that you would see in like older European houses, where it's got kind of like the plaster front, but it's got the boards that cross the borders and then like X across. I don't know specifically what that's called. I know there's a specific name for it, but I can't remember what it is at this point.
Sounds almost Tudorish.
Yeah.
Let's go with that then.
Is it like the really, really pale plaster with the really dark wood?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, it's more sort of Edwardian Tudorish.
Yeah, it's got a name, and I can't remember what it is. But you arrive at the house. All of the lights appear to be dim on first look. Eben, upon arriving, says, well, this is where you will want to wait for her if she's going to come out. I will be going now. Do you have anything else that you need from me?
You've been a fantastic help. Thank you very much, my friend.
Eben, before you go, would you mind at some point offering us some assistance at your farm? We may pass by that way on the way to the croft.
He nods with a slight bow almost. He says, of course, anytime I can be of help. If it is for the good of Woodley, then I will do my best to help you.
Thank you, friend.
Of course. And with that, he turns, his robe's kind of flapping as he turns around quickly, and he starts to walk off towards what you figure is the entrance of the town.
By the way, everybody, we got given a bonus for finding out that the Black Hound was apparently really, really dangerous and not just a figment of people's imagination.
And I hand them each 5 gold.
Oh.
Well, that's more like it.
Thank you.
See?
Huh.
I'm a top negotiator. Also, he really just offered it without me even really asking that much. I was like, it's how speech planned, and
We should have haggled him.
I didn't want to push
Just
my luck
shake
with
my
him.
head.
Moment, I'm learning more and more about you as time goes on. And that's it. I don't explain what I'm learning. Just that I'm learning things. And did Eben knock on the door, or did anyone knock on the door?
No.
We haven't yet.
Okay.
We can if
Well,
you
in
want.
that case, I'm going to move up, and I'm going to
Yeah, does the door have any nice decorations to it? Like, I mean, you said
it does. It's an oak door, and it appears to have some kind of brass gilding going around in several symmetrical squares along the top. The doorknob appears to be made of the same brass, matching in quality.
Probably awesome knockers.
Yeah, the doors are the best knockers ever. So many knockers.
I cast guidance on myself.
Sure.
I would like to cast detect magic.
Sure.
I would like to look as unarmed as possible.
Okay.
Just see like a company bristling with weapons.
I'm going to look unarmed. My sword is bigger than I am.
Yeah, I was going to say, you are a dwarf with a two-handed sword that is like just 5.5, 6 foot tall. I'm not armed.
This is my flagpole. It's where I keep my flag.
Put a cloak over it.
Oh, that's a cultural item.
As Nasan raps on the door, it resists a little. This is like a heavy door. This is definitely good craftsmanship, and you hear kind of a booming thud as your knuckles make contact with it. You wait a few moments, and there's no sound. Just the general conversations of people walking down the street behind you, and the ever-present.
What the dickens?
What was that? I lost you.
I thought you said there were awesome knockers on this door. Why am I using my knuckles?
Because you like to make an impression. You like to get in there and get dirty. Those knockers are a crutch. You don't need them.
Faces. They're holding the rings in their mouths. They're amazing.
Fine. You use there's awesome knockers that are there that are in the shape of cows' heads, bulls' heads with horns, and then the ring is through the nose. And you use those, and it goes tap tap tap, very very loudly.
How long does it take before Dax is stuck on one of the horns? And just dangling there.
Moving along. Let's just imagine we don't impale our friend on the knockers of the door before the door answers. So there's no response for quite some time. Is that right?
No, you wait for a few minutes and nothing seems to happen.
Okay. That was rather uneventful.
Taking a step back, and possibly quite a few steps, I look around the windows. Do I see anyone at the windows, or any movement, any candlelight in behind the windows, anything like that?
Perception check.
That was a rubbish roll. 9.
I don't take a step back. I get closer and I peer in through one of the ground windows.
Sure.
Yeah, I do that too. 17.
Okay.
10.
Whatever we were looking for was specifically at dwarf height.
Mormont, as you hang from the as you hang from the windowsill with Dax alongside you, you peer inside and you see what appears to be some kind of office or perhaps study. The chairs and the desk inside of it are made of the same beautiful oak that you see in the door, appearing to denote that perhaps a lot of the crafting and a lot of the carpentry was done by the same person here. There's a collection of inks and quills on top of the desk, along with missives and whatnot, but the room appears very dusty, as though nobody's been in it for a while. It's connected to the main part of the house by a single door, which is off to the right corner of the room on the far end. Aside from that, the room is dark, and there doesn't appear to be a whole lot else going on inside of there. The door is shut, so you can't see past it into the rest of the house.
I don't see anyone in there.
Mormont, lift me up. What can you see?
Yeah, you don't hear anything either, Mormont. It's very, very still and quiet. You get the feeling that there's nobody home.
How remote is this particular house from the other houses around it? Or is it like just
amongst a normal street? There are people walking around and stuff like that.
Yeah, is it a detached house?
It's the old style, like medieval kind of row housing, where the houses have like a small gap in between them, but it's definitely, they're close enough to where it's a fire hazard.
Okay, well...
Somebody walking down the street sees Mormont peering in through the window. Oi! You looking for Anna Goodwife?
I turn around immediately that we all apparently respond at once.
Yes.
She, ever since her husband died, she don't come back to the house very often. She's always spending time down in the crypt. He's got a sarcophagus down there. Real expensive looking one. I saw it at the funeral. She just sits down there and prays all the time.
Oh. Well, thank you for the information.
We out here tell us sometimes she sleeps down there too. She didn't take the death none too well.
Oh.
Oh.
Do you know the quickest way to the crypt?
Yeah, you ever been to the temple?
Yes.
Across the street on the right-hand side of the temple, there will be a cemetery over there and a larger crypt that's used for the more prominent citizens.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll try to find Anna there.
So,
looking back to the others, I draw a breath and...
We need to ask the woman who is apparently really distraught over her husband's death and has been sleeping next to the sarcophagus of her late husband, whether we can have one of the last gifts that her late husband gave her for some sort of usage ritual for
it's no better than it was before, but
now we're asking her in her crypt.
Well, if she doesn't come out of the crypt, where else are we going to ask her? I appreciate that this is getting more and more unfortunate, but
we could invite her to dinner at the Waltzing Cat.
I somehow think that a woman who spends most of her time in a crypt, sleeping next to her dead husband, probably doesn't want to spend her evening in a very loud, raucous pub with excellent beer. You really want beer.
At any rate, we should go, and I agree with Eben on the best course. If we speak with her and we tell her true, what we need those pearls for. Or at least after our introductions, after we pay respect to her late husband, we broach the topic, painting it as a final gesture that his gift could be in some way used to, if nothing else, remove the Black Hound, possibly even the plague. What better gift to have left? What better way to enshrine his memory in Woodley? Perhaps if we approach it from that direction.
That is probably the only thing that would convince her to part with such a gift. But what if she doesn't believe in the Black Hound? What if she's skeptic?
Well, given how many people here believe in the Inky, the general beliefs of the people, she's a farmer's daughter from these lands. It's reasonable to believe that she would accept it. Maybe if she come from the mainland, perhaps not, but that may work to our advantage.
I kind of think at this point that we're going to have to play it by ear anyway when we get in there. Just tell her the truth and just hope it works.
And if it doesn't, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And there's an element of...
As you say that, I go, I hope you can swim.
Oh...
There's an element of kind of resigned
I do believe Nos would
sadness.
swim circles around you, Dax.
Yeah. Definitely an element of sadness. And when he says, I do hope you swim, it doesn't get any better. In fact, it's more this kind of resignation. I don't say anything on it, though.
Sure.
So
you all head off towards the crypt. Walking across town, you head back towards the temple, and across the street from there, where it was indicated by the neighbor, you do find a cemetery. And entering the cemetery, you find a stairwell which is covered by a large marble arch that runs down into the ground that you assume must be the crypt.
Can I have a look at the marble arch and just generally the area around here?
Sure.
Specifically, I'm looking first and foremost for anything growing, any kind of vines growing on the marble arch, but also any iconography carved into any particular symbols. I'm kind of keeping my eye open for a bisected star.
Yeah, sure.
I rolled a 12. Or rather, I got it.
It's a fairly standard cemetery from what you can tell. There is some plant growth to answer your question on some of the headstones and some of the various works that appear to be less well kept. But for the most part, it appears as though the area has some kind of groundskeeper who tends to the graves. You don't find any bisected stars anywhere. That bit of iconography is not found, although you do find several symbols of the Grey Lady and also symbols of the Shattered Helm here and there, just to give people a little bit of solace as they send their loved ones off to whatever comes next.
Okay. Are there any of the kind of ivy-like plants? Any of them strike me as downleaf?
Sure, there are ivy-like plants. If you wanted to go ahead and give me a survival check, please. I thought there was like a nature alchemy roll or something like that.
There's nature, but nature's
nature.
more like what you know about nature rather than finding it. Survival's actually...
Yeah. That's what I figured. We'll do survivalism.
20.
Okay. Looking around, you do find some ivy and some various plants, but you don't find anything that specifically looks like downleaf. It does differ from normal ivy by having slightly smaller leaves, and the stems themselves, they tend to be a little bit thicker, almost like an ice plant type deal. But they're kind of ivy-shaped ice plants, essentially. They're thicker and rubberier. You don't find anything of that kind in the area, though. The earth must not be right for it, you quickly deduce.
I sigh. Looking back to the group, I thought perhaps I saw some things that might have been downleaf. It doesn't look like it, though. Perhaps we should make our way down into the crypts.
You're standing on someone. Just thought I'd mention it. There's a lot of graves here.
As we get to like the crypt, I stop at the entrance and like I make the sign of the Grey Lady.
Hope this is okay with you.
As far as you can tell. Nobody says anything.
Okay.
On the plus side, as you look down into the crypt, someone has taken the time to put lighting down there, and so it appears to be tended to, just in case there are any visitors.
I pick up a stone, I cast a light on it, I put it in a bag.
Sure. Dax, that was someone's skull.
And then I cast guidance on myself and I walk in.
Sure. You descend down a series of stairs that probably allow you to drop down into the earth by a good 15, 25 feet. And as you start to work your way down the hallway, you start to realize that the architecture in here is somewhat foreign and a little bit different than what you had expected. And in fact, it seems as though the people in the town have been using the wrong nomenclature. They call it a crypt, but what it ends up being is a lot more of like a mausoleum or like a catacomb. And it appears to extend on for quite some time as the hallway slightly curves around a large center. Perception checks, please.
Okay.
20.
17, 20, 20 in Dex.
Good lord.
21!
Damn!
Wow.
There goes those rolls. You all are acutely aware right now, whether it's just kind of the oddness of the situation or the fact that you're in the realm of the dead, essentially. Everybody's senses are on point. You hear the sound of footsteps from further up ahead in a room that extends off to the right.
I'll point to that direction, but it looks like everyone already noticed, so...
Sure.
I offer a nod to Adavi when he gestures in that way, and I am already beginning to walk in that direction.
Just before I get to the room, I recast guidance on myself.
Sure.
The others might notice that I'm kind of playing with a kind of chain of beads or a string of beads around my wrist, and specifically, whilst most of the beads appear wooden, there are a few that are glass or appear to be some sort of like polished stone, with various symbols that if Adavi would recognize it as symbols from the Myanmar language, words, and I'm just sort of playing with them idly. My mouth is moving, but I'm not speaking. It appears that I'm just offering prayers and that sort of thing.
As you go around the corner, you see that there's a double door there, which fits into the archway of the architecture, which is slightly ajar, and light is flickering out from inside. And based on the perception checks that you already gave me, you can't really see into the room, but you hear the sound of grinding stone as you come around the corner. Stone on stone making kind of a rumbling noise.
I slow at that, and I look to the others, and seeing that they all seem to have an expression which betrays they've heard it. I nod to Dax. And he can see me reach around behind myself and just kind of ease the sun wheel, which is typically just kind of slung and kind of tied across my back, and just ease it into a more ready position that I could remove it if I needed to. And then I gesture, Adavi. Shall we move forward?
I loosen the strap on my buckler.
Does my awesome knowledge of stone tell me anything about the noise?
It's definitely the sound of marble on marble. How a dwarf would know what two different stones sound like rubbing against each other, let alone the sound of the same stone rubbing against each other, I'm not really sure. But you hear that stone grind, and you instantly go, marble.
Look, this is dwarf porn, okay? He's used to hearing this all the time.
Yeah, like he goes onto those dwarf websites and it's got stone on stone action.
Hot stone on stone action.
Marble grinds marble really hard.
Whoa.
Two stones, one crucible, that's all I'm saying.
At the beckoning of Nosan, Adavi takes point, and his large ass leads the group around the quarter towards the sound of stone grinding on stone.
Okay, and as you approach the door and you peek inside, you see a scene laid out before you. Let me go ahead and grab stuff here.
He's grabbing stuff.
It's a room that's full of sarcophagi. About 8 or 9 of them in a row that's straight out in front of you. 2 columns along each side of the room suspend everything upwards. The stone in the center is a different color from the rest of the stone tiles that have been laid out. But more concerning than that is the presence of a dead man laying on the floor in between all of these stone sarcophagi. And a man in a cowl has turned around and seen you enter and mutters a curse under his breath. And you see him start gesticulating and saying things. And all of a sudden, several bodies from inside the sarcophagi start to crawl outwards.
Shield!
Yeah. What in the... By the way, you're probably the only one in this group that will get this, but Diftor just mentioned, and suddenly a good berry-eating druid jumps out shouting, "Necromancy!"
Necromancy!
I couldn't not laugh at that. That was such a good
I've been waiting for that to happen.
Oh, man.
And with that being done, he turns and apparently walks out of your line of sight into a wall, it would almost seem. And with that...
Cool.
We'll probably be taking our break. Now, with the technical issues, what did we want to discuss that right now, or what did we want to do regarding the technical stuff?
It's fine. It's just... It's not as bad as it was, and to be fair, it was minor-ish, but it was something I wanted to sort out. We're fine to keep going, honestly. Chat seems to not really think it much of an issue. It's bugging me because I'm a perfectionist, because it is noticeable when you listen for it, but otherwise it's okay.
Okay, sounds good. We're going to take ourselves... What's that?
Sorry, I'll ask in the break.
Okay, we'll keep ourselves a tiny little break here. We'll probably give it like 5 minutes or so just to use the bathroom and get ready for what's coming. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. Go check out the Patreon while we're away, please. And then we'll see you when we return, okay?
Axe isn't going on break. Don't worry, he's going to be sat here singing you songs to keep you all interested. I need that.
Would you like to be beside the crypt side? Or would you like to be beside the crypt?
Someone needs to make a little loop of that and submit it, and we'll just play it when we're away.
Yeah, that's just the break zone now.
So
Hey, welcome on back, everybody. It's time for a little bit more Roll for It, where our party has found that deep down in the crypts there are things happening. And with that, you found ice cream in the crypt. That must be a very low refrigerated crypt.
That's some serious shit.
That's the good stuff. And with that, I bring you all to our map.
Uh-oh.
This is gorgeous. Splat is amazing at Roll20.
So this is why you were saying that, because it didn't load properly. It looked really blurry and terrible. Now it looks good.
This guy walked off into a wall, so you don't got to worry about him. But there's still a dead man in the middle of the floor, and there are several undead skeletons who appear to have crawled their way out of crypts, and they seem to be really, really upset with you right about now. I'm going to need everybody to roll initiative.
Hooray!
God damn it.
I likes the initiative rollings.
I got to put on my combat turban.
Oh, wait. I didn't click on myself. Yeah, damn it. I had an initiative of 27.
I've got 9. Yeah.
Holman has 2.
It's okay. I didn't click on my character, so I can roll again.
I didn't click on my character.
You don't get to roll again. We know what you rolled. It says right there.
Yeah, I'm mad you guys manually.
18.
Oh.
Nice try, Dax Fizzlespark. Get your 18 self off there, you cheating scallywaggery.
He's on there twice now.
I know. Messed everything up.
No, he's not. I threw him in the little trash bin that comes with my turn finder.
In the trash bin with you.
By the way, did he go into a physical wall or into a tunnel?
You'll find out once you look into it, but it says tunnel on the map, so I assume that's probably not much of a thing to hide from you.
Okay.
The labeling sort of
gave it
away. I assume every square I assume is 5 feet.
Yes.
Okay. One skeleton at the back's got a bow, one's got a two-handed axe, and the other one's got a axe and shield. Oh, and there's one with a spear.
I don't see one with a spear, but he's got a clubby thing. It's like a mace.
It's a clubby thing. I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bludge. It's a bludgeoner. All right, and so now
just smelling it is enough.
Got those sorted by descending order. Nusan, what do you want to do? You are up first, sir.
Okay, so could you give me indication of what I'm actually seeing in terms of the enemies right now?
Sure. In front of you, the enemies aren't making a real big attempt to hide. After having slid out of the marble sarcophagi, making a bunch of noise, the clattering of metal, and so on and so forth, there are 4 skeletons in front of you. 2 to your right, the ones that are in front of Mormon Stoneweaver. One is equipped with what appears to be a bow of reasonable craftsmanship. The other one...
I like the fact that's his name, by the way. The Bow of Reasonable Craftsmanship.
Yeah, the Bow of Reasonable Craftsmanship. It has no bonuses, but hey, it's a Bow of Reasonable Craftsmanship. The other skeleton in front of Mormon has a large two-handed axe, which is dragging behind itself as it limps slowly towards him. The 2 on your side of the field, one is equipped with a shield and a hand axe, and the other has a mace and no other armoring other than that. Or I guess no other handheld items other than that.
How did they get these weapons?
I'm sorry, so one has got a mace and one has got an axe and a shield. Is that right? Yeah, did you say?
Yes.
Okay, let me just check how far I can move in a turn. Where is that on here?
Like 1 billion feet.
Speed 30. Afraid not. Maybe one day. 10, 25. Are we counting diagonals or not?
Yeah, you can count diagonals. The enemy can use them too, so that's fine.
Okay.
You can get right on top of that guy.
I could, yeah.
I mean,
but that's going a little bit too far with the undead. That's necrophilia.
Yeah. By the way, I hate to say this, but were we going for the initiative that we rolled initially, or the one that we did when we clicked the character? Because you've currently got me down for the latter, and I think you said the former.
Oh, yeah.
I hate to admit that, but
I
should be
you're a good person, really.
Well, I would have noticed anyways once we got to your turn, so it's like, I appreciate it, but you would have got caught either way.
You wouldn't have forgotten that.
You would have been caught either way. I like that. It's like, you didn't just do something honest. You were trying to sneak, but you were afraid of the
You sneakity sneak.
Okay, so I will sneak next time. Gotcha.
How he's painted your character. It's like, buddy.
I know what
all right, well, I am going to... Literally, I can move my full action in 1 turn. Can I not?
Movement doesn't take turns and stuff.
Yeah. That is my full action, like my full movement. I can do as part of my turn.
Yeah.
There's no
you can move and then you can strike. Yeah. You can move, you can strike, you can move again if you have movement left over. You can do all kinds of stuff.
All the way up here. And I will be
on
top
top
of this
doing
fella.
that guy.
Shut your mouth, you filthy man.
Oh, I just look around and you're like right on top of him.
They're waltzing, okay? God. Play some music.
So I'm going to immediately, like, because I had my weapon ready. Have I got it ready? Given this,
you're ready to go. You could declare it.
Okay, so yeah, I immediately move. There's enough time for me to see what's going on, and then I'm immediately in a run, and I kind of almost clip the coffin as I'm going around it, but I seem to manage it thanks to the GM allowing diagonal movement, and I just lay into it. There's a bit of motion, like I'm using the motion as part of the attack. I'm swirling this kind of circular bladed weapon, my sun wheel with like kind of, if you've ever drawn a sun and you've got kind of the fanciful kind of prongs around the perimeter of the sun, that's effectively what this looks like, but it's got a bar just around the middle that I'm actually gripped onto, with some leather sort of grip there. And let's see how I can do. Is this just a flat roll?
Yep.
Is it two-handed like a batleth?
No.
Aw.
That's 14.
Okay. You come in, and with this big wound-up attack, you come over, and almost with a slight spin, you deliver it with a bunch of force, but the skeleton somehow seems to just go whang and knock it to the side with the shield, with a twitching motion that appears to be a lot faster than you expected.
I was definitely prepared for that, and with the motion that I had built up, I follow through with the flat of my other palm just aiming, trying to catch it on the chin.
Okay.
And this is my bonus action. I declare that now, and I can just roll with it, yeah?
Sure.
We're fighting skeletons, and this is your bonus action. Gotcha.
And I got a 21 with that one.
Okay, and so as the momentum lands on the shield, you feel it lean slightly down and forward as it tries to just absorb that, and taking that into account, you take your hand and just slam it into its jaw. Go ahead and roll damage.
His hand is much better with bones.
Yes. He's used to handling bones.
And I rolled 8 bludgeoning damage.
8. Okay. So your hand slams into the creature's face, causing it to crack and little shards of bone fly off to the side. It staggers slightly sideways, but the magic that's holding it together still appears to remain intact, and it is still standing.
Out of interest, did it look like the bludgeoning damage did like super extra damage or anything?
No, it cracked the skull and knocked a couple chunks off. I mean, it's an old skeleton, so one would assume that it would start to shed little bits and pieces once you start hitting it with force.
It didn't look like it's weak to bludgeoning damage or anything. Okay, cool.
Just to make everyone aware of what just happened there and why I got a bonus attack, that is because I have 1 level in Monk, which means that as a bonus action, I can make an additional unarmed attack. But that does use up my bonus action, so it means it's not available for other things at this point.
And it was actually weak to bludgeoning. I got my stat blocks here. So you actually killed it. Its head explodes offwards sideways with your crosswards blow, and the body slumps and clatters to the floor, sending the shield spinning off to the side.
How does weakness work then?
It doubles the damage. If something is weak, it doubles the damage, and if something is resistant to it, it halves the damage.
Right, so I actually did 16 damage in effect into it.
Yeah, it was a big hit.
Seeing this, I shout out, maybe try punching them more? You're really good at that.
Maybe.
All right, and with that, Nussan, that was your last action, correct?
Yep.
That means it is going to be Adavi's turn.
Do you want to drag the icon for the skeleton off the board?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Know it's gone.
I'm looking for its replacement real fast.
Yeah, and as I see this skeleton's head explode, all I can say is shit.
Oh, that's so awesome. There's like little
replacements. I'm going to run over here to the left. I'm going to try to take cover behind one of these things. And I'm going to cast Ray of Sickness at this silly archer skeleton in the rear.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Yes.
All right, so you got yourself a 20. Go ahead and roll damage. bam with a big old blast. You start to gesticulate and mutter arcane words under your breath, and drawing back, you get a real good feel for the energies that are around you. Maybe something left over from the summoning of these creatures. You're not really entirely too sure, but the air feels saturated, and that somehow makes the spell feel very, very strong. And you project outwards, and the beam launches at the enemy, but right as it makes contact, it bubbles over its form, and the spell looks like it's trying to attack or eat the skeleton. But was that poison damage you just used?
Uh-huh.
It can't seem to find purchase, because without flesh, poison really has nothing to attack, and so the skeleton staggers back a little bit from the force of the blow, but otherwise appears unaffected.
When I hear the wave sickness, I was like, oh, I'm waiting for what's going to happen here. Then he rolled maximum damage.
Yeah, I was thinking as well.
So disappointing.
Adavi just keeps chanting, shit. He's too surprised by what's going on.
Rhythmically.
Bones can get infections, right? It get fractured.
Yeah, it got an infection deep down in its marrow.
Yeah, like it's the actual still the tissue inside. Like a dead bone can't get an infection because it's just it's calcium.
Dead.
Oh,
it's might as well be like a interestingly shaped rock.
All right, and that brings us. Adavi, did you have anything else you were going to do on your turn?
I'm just going to keep yelling shit.
Okay. So Adavi, you hear him off to the side just screaming shit, as the spell, which was pretty impressive visually, impacts the enemy and does like nothing. It is now the skeleton's turns. This skeleton here takes cover behind this spot.
We'll need to ping. There we go.
This skeleton moves to engage with Mormond. This skeleton here comes down and engages with Nasan, who's the closest. And undead kind of have like one-track minds. They're not real smart. It's that whole dog brain thing.
They have minds.
Absolutely.
All right. And then in order of attacks, the one that's on the left is going to go ahead and strike at Nasan with his weapon.
My AC is 17.
Okay. And that actually, let me check real fast. Does the club count as a finesse weapon? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
The club, finesse weapon? No. Club's not
I'm
finesse.
just checking. I gotta try, I gotta try.
Well, I presume he would have finesse with the weapon he's wielding, but if not, then...
Yeah. Okay, so he swings it at you, but carrying the motion of the blow that you just struck, you kind of dance to the side, and the club comes down harmlessly behind you and clatters off the floor, as the skeleton doesn't really seem entirely too frustrated by this. It just hits the ground, it looks stupidly out of its empty eye sockets at the club, and raises it and hefts it back up onto its shoulder for its
While this is all
onslaught.
going on, I'm windmilling my arms. I'm just weaving in amongst the bones and trying to reposition around behind it.
Yeah,
you're doing your fancy hippie dance.
Is the skeleton impressed with his dancing?
The skeleton appears unimpressed. But then again, you get the feeling that the skeleton isn't impressed by much.
I mean, come on. Even the undead should be able to appreciate that.
All right, the skeleton that's taking cover behind the sarcophagus is going to fire back at Adavi using his bow.
Shit!
What? It clatters off it actually, what was your armor class?
16.
Okay. He fires a little bit low. If there's one thing you've learned about the undead from this experience, it's that they don't appear to be entirely too dexterous or filled with agility. And so, even though his arms are a little bit limp, he releases the bow, and the arrow just goes clatter, and it hits the sarcophagus that's right in front of you, knocking off a small piece of the stone. And that leaves us with the big hulking skeleton that appears to be the size of a large man who's carrying the two-handed axe. He runs up on Mormond with actually surprising speed, a little bit of a limp, and comes in with an overhand chop coming downwards. Mormond, what's your AC?
It is 16.
Okay.
Have I had enough time to draw a sword?
Ooh! And so,
no.
I don't think
On
when we declared us.
The roll was 17, by the way.
So the skeleton, he's got a beat on you. You try to juke slightly, but he brings that thing down, and he brings it down hard. And so let's see what kind of damage he does here.
I was like getting ready to charge, and then suddenly it runs up to me. I'm like, oh, and then.
If necromancy's a thing in this world, why the hell are people still burying skeletons with armor and weapons? What the hell?
Maybe it's just not very common, Maybe it doesn't happen
asking
a
the
lot.
real questions there.
Like, it doesn't happen enough for you to actually take precautions. You know how human beings are. We wait till it's an absolute worst case, then we deal with the problem. We never deal with it when it's smart or pertinent, ever.
No, the necromancers, like, they have to bring their own weapons. They go down with, like, a cart full laden with weapons and just put one in every sarcophagi.
So as he brings the axe downwards, you manage to actually kind of throw yourself to the side slightly, and it bounces off the chainmail on your shoulder and becomes a bit of a glancing blow. You take 3 damage.
All right.
That went a lot better than it could have
How
gone.
much health have you got, Moment?
I'm now at 14, so that's not too bad.
Can we get a good Mormon grunt?
Oh,
Oh, that was crap.
what did you want? It was very, very quick. It wasn't a proper hit. It was a partial hit. I sort of dodged it.
Yeah, but you're a dwarf. Your chest is basically the size of a barrel. You've got a huge resonance chamber. You'd make lower notes. Oh. Okay, now you sound like a troll.
I didn't know it would have to get the specific pitch.
Basically, try to grunt in Scottish.
Isn't that just lots of swearing?
Yes.
And so as that blow lands, we're back up to Dax's turn. What you gonna do?
Team, what would you like? Damage or buffs? What do you think?
You can't ask a question in the middle of combat. Come on now.
Yeah, man, that's metagaming. That's metagaming.
Okay.
What would Dax do?
What would Dax do?
WWDD.
Well,
Yeah, DD.
I assume that the Grey Lady has a pretty dim view of necromancy.
It's probably not okay considering that's her realm. Yes, she might be a little upset about it.
Or maybe she just finds it really interesting that humans have taken the initiative.
In which case, I'm going to move to there and get myself some cover. I assume that counts as, like, full cover for me because I'm much shorter.
Yeah, it would be like half cover for a Davi, but for you, it would basically be blocking line of sight unless you're
In
looking
fact,
up and
you
over
know
it.
what? I'll let it block line of sight. I don't want to see the archer. That big guy that Mom's having issues with.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see him.
I'm
either.
doing
Davi's
fine.
in the way.
Okay,
Yeah.
in which case,
A
I
Davi
don't move,
blocks
I
your line
cast a
of
spell, then I move. Like, you can break your movement up.
Sure.
I turn to him, and I'm like, you are not here because the Grey Lady... Wrong voice.
You're not here. The Grey Lady does not want you here. Go back where you came from.
I cast, where is it? I don't have it on my list of spells.
No!
God damn it. It's the damaging spell that you get at level 1 as a cleric. Let me just quickly find
Is
it.
it the one that you shot at the Black Hound?
Yeah.
Isn't it like
It's
Holy
also
Fire or
interesting
something like
game of
that?
Spells.
It's not on my list yet, but it is Guiding Bolt.
I've
So
got
I do
enough time with my
46
dancing
radiant
rubber
damage
skeleton to eat my ice
if
cream.
I hit. So I make a ranged spell attack. I still have guidance up, which gives me a 1d4 bonus.
Okay.
So ranged spell attack. I don't think I can roll just ranged spell attack. It's a D. Roll 1 d20 plus 5
Plus your spell
plus
skill. Yeah.
d4. $16.
Okay. So you've got a 16, and that was at the one with the axe?
Yes.
Okay, roll for damage.
Sweet. Right. Roll 4d6. 13 radiant damage. Does that?
It was 13 radiant.
Yes.
Let me check my stat block real fast and see if that affects anything. You know, it's not on the vulnerabilities list, but that's a killing blow. Drop that hammer.
Sweet. Okay. I want to hit him like directly in the middle of like the chest and just have him, as he's going to swing at Mormont again, just blow him up. Smithereens.
Done. As the bolt hits it in the side, right here, right on the rib cage, it just evaporates bone dust all over the place as it impacts and throws it all against the wall with kind of a whooshing sandy sound.
Okay. And I look to Mormont and I go,
I got you. Don't worry.
Mormont, you're standing there covered in bone dust now, by the way.
I was reaching for a sword, and then it just explodes in front of me, like, oh, thanks.
Right
and then I
in the
drop
face.
the sword.
Alright, and then for my
And,
bonus action, I turn towards Nos and I'm going to try and give him inspiration. So to do that, I'm going to go, Nos, do that again. One punch! And give him inspiration.
All right, you now have inspiration.
That misses all of his attacks. He's laughing too hard. Fantastic! I approve.
I just killed chat's earphones.
Yep.
Great. Now we got a bunch of. We got to pay for all of chat's hearing aids now. They're all gonna have little robots in their ears.
It's okay. A few burst eardrums are worth it.
I think it works out in the Dark Heresy setting though, because then we could just be like, "We've made you better." It's for the Omniscience. We've replaced your ears with robot ears. It's fine.
I've been waiting to just use the one punch theme to be able to like give Nas something. I was like so glad that he killed that in one hit.
It did seem more fitting when you think about it, I guess. Yes.
All right, and that brings us to Mormon. What do you want to do, buddy?
I am going to just start running at the archer one.
I thought you were going to start running at the speed of light. That'd be amazing.
That'd be cool, but unfortunately it'll take me 2 turns to get over there.
You could use your action to sprint.
What does that do? Double it?
Doubles your base move.
I wouldn't be able to then
60
attack,
tiles?
would I?
Yeah, but like
It would block the skeleton from attacking, though. He can't fire an arrow without an attack of opportunity, as far as I know.
I think he can. I think it's only moving away from combat that initiates an attack of opportunity. He might get some.
I thought it was if you cast a spell or use a ranged attack or something.
No. You can get an opportunity to get attack against someone who casts a spell if you have a certain feat. Because I know that there's certainly a feat that allows you to do that. Okay. I think it's something like if he tries to shoot outside of combat, he might get a disadvantage or something. And I know shooting in combat is definitely a disadvantage.
So he can still shoot me or whatever, no matter what I do.
If you're in base contact with him, he has disadvantage on the attack roll if he's trying to shoot you with a bow. I know that for certain.
Okay, so I can get to him. Okay, I'll just keep running at him. I say, "Come at me," and I go there.
Come at me, bro.
With the sword raised.
Yeah, it doesn't impose provoke, but it does impose disadvantage. Chat saying.
Yeah, you got disadvantage. Although what's interesting is if the character has reach, you don't get the disadvantage. So let's say he was 10 feet away with a spear, it doesn't count. You have to have the model actually adjacent to get the disadvantage on him firing at people with a bow. That. That's a weird rule. That's a very odd rule.
Like, honestly, it makes reach weapons kind of crappy. Like, they've got nothing going for them in the rulebook apart from that rule, and that rule is, like, kind of for reach.
Yeah, so basically you get to hit further away, but you get none of the bonuses of having somebody locked into melee. It's kind of an interesting ruling.
The only good thing they have is some of the like special feats for reach weapons, but other than that, they're kind of naff.
Okay.
It makes sense. Because you could shoot an arrow at someone like a spear's length away from you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, but the idea is a spear like that range still should be able to give you disadvantage because they're trying to like maneuver it and you're trying to avoid the spear.
That's an odd ruling, though. It's going to be Noson's turn. Noson, you're up. What do you want to do, buddy?
Okay, well, since I'm already here, I'm immediately going to attack. So we'll start out with the sun wheel.
Okay.
Did I roll a 19 on that?
Okay, so that's going to be a hit. Give me a roll for damage.
7 piercing.
Okay, so as your hand comes up and connects with the other skeleton's head, completely wiping him out, your sun wheel is in your opposite hand. You turn around and do a quick 360, and backhanding the skeleton that's coming up on your left-hand side with it, you draw a deep slash across the front of its face, and it actually, you can see cracks open up along the edges because the skull is very, very brittle. But the skeleton is still standing.
Utilizing my momentum, as that connects, I follow it, I continue following through with the spin and go for a fist, once again, straight to the face.
Sure.
Hits him.
24.
Ooh, roll for damage.
And I roll a 7.
Okay, double that up to 14. That's a killing blow. Drop the hammer.
Okay, well, as I come around, I go for the punch. I actually seeing the skeleton kind of recoiling slightly from the blow from the sunwheel, I notice that an opening is opened up, and instead I just ball my fist and I punch it straight in the throat and shatter the vertebrae that are connecting the head to the shoulders.
Very nice.
The head, from a momentum, just kind of tumbles forward. It just rolls over my arm, just plinks off my shoulder and descends on the floor somewhere behind me.
Very cool. Now surrounded by skeletal bodies, did you want to move? You can still move after that.
Yes, I can move 30 meters. So can I move like from here straight across?
Yeah, what's the measurement on that? So you can go from there to 20.
So 10.
Yeah, I'll rule that there's a little gap right there because half of it is open. That would mean you'd have like a little 2.5 foot walkway on the opposite side of the sarcophagus. You're good.
Okay, there we are then.
Cool. All right, and that puts us on Adavi's turn, who I presume is still standing there shouting shit at the sky.
Well, yeah, he went for a shit for a while, and then all the skeletons are dead now, except for one, so he's like, okay.
Totally in my head, by the way, since Dax inspired me, I was singing the rest of that song the whole way. I was so tempted to actually just chime in and say, Dax, don't want to hear you calling out my name. I'm not here for fortune and fame.
Hero.
Okay. I hope we're singing that in character.
No. He doesn't watch One Punch. Doesn't get much time to follow anime, unfortunately. That's a shame.
All right. Well, Adavi is panicked. He's short of breath. But as he's heaving these breaths out, he's going to move forward to the next sarcophagus and give a second try. It's like, right. Poison. Doesn't work. He's going to cast Ray of Frost at this skeleton.
Okay, give me an attack roll.
Rolls 15.
Nice. Very nice.
Comes out 20, though.
Okay. You raise your hand up and point a finger at the skeleton, and a huge concussion out of the end of your finger goes pa-ta, and you see a beam rocket out sideways, kind of weaving its way through the air as it heads straight towards the skeleton. Give me a roll for damage.
Aw. Roll 2.
For all that fanfare and how awesome it looks, it embeds itself straight in the chest of the skeleton where the ice just appears to fill up its ribcage slightly. You can hear a vague crackling noise, but you're not even sure if you did damage. It looks like it did something, though. 2 damage done. Do you want to move or you're all good?
I'm going to duck behind this sarcophagus.
Okay, so you're down and low.
Okay,
that
so
puts us on.
That did normal damage, not like resistant or anything.
Yeah, it did normal damage,
Cool.
I think. I keep closing my stat block because I'm a noob like that. I need to stop doing it. But I'm pretty sure the stat block that I have does not do anything special for... Yeah, he's good. Alrighty then. That puts us on... For some reason it resorted everything. Hold on, there we go. It's got Noson, we got a Davi. It is now... Oh, I deleted the skeleton that was on the tracker. That's what happened. It's now the skeleton's turn. He drops the bow and produces a long, curved, short blade and attempts to stab Mormond with it.
Where does it produce the blade from? It's a skeleton.
I like to think he's got it hidden kind of in his pelvis a little bit, maybe squirreled away somewhere in his prison pocket.
Kind of
it's just there.
Through his clavicle, down his rib cage, and the blade was kind of just lodged in his pelvis. And now he's just honk.
As he pulls it out, though, and he tries to stab forward and get you in the gut, which for a dwarf would be like... Yeah. It would be right between his eyes. He's trying to get you right between the eyes. You're just like, nah, I'm not having that. You duck downwards, and it's completely and totally ineffective. And that means that it is now Dax's turn.
And you're so harsh on this guy. It's probably his first day on the job as a skeleton warrior. I mean, shit.
Yeah, it's his first day.
It's rough. For decades, and now he's just been woken up. And it's like, so quick, save the combat, come on.
I want to say something that's really amusing, but I won't because I need the spells to deal with the Necromancer later, probably. So instead, I'm going to cast Sacred Flame, and I'll like move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to there. Right, Sacred Flame. I think he has to make a dexterity saving throw, I believe. Let me just double check the rules on Sacred Flame. I actually have this on my character sheet. Let me roll it. Boop. He takes 1 radiant damage if he fails this.
Whoa!
Good job.
1 whole damage.
Oh yeah. He fails.
I think there's actually, let me take a look real fast. He's got a +2 to dex, so he adds 2 more on there.
He passes.
Yes, so he passes. You actually you draw a flame out of the air and try and drop it down on top of him. But with a weird sixth sense, he just steps backwards and it goes ploop on the floor in front of him and burns on the stone.
Down and lands on him, but the ice that's filling his ribcage just kind of extinguishes it.
He turns into mist.
That's why the ice does so little damage as well. There we go.
All right.
You gotta play magically. You gotta learn to not mix the wrong things.
Cross the streams.
And then my bonus action. Do any of my spells count as a bonus action? I don't believe so. I could give inspiration. I don't think we're going to need it. So I'm going to use my bonus action to... Let me just check what my rules are for this.
Look really good. Ready for the killing. Follow and then be like, yeah, I
to
help.
hide.
Okay.
Because I can use it. Everything's black.
I know
you went too stealth.
I know. I was like, I'm so stealth that even I cannot see myself.
Yeah, I'm doing
I see what you're
awesome.
doing.
Hold on.
Cool.
Oh dear.
I'm doing something awesome. This is going to be baller. Hold on a second.
He's adding layers. It's gonna be great.
If my browser doesn't crash from this, you disappear. And then it's Mormon's turn. Mormon, what do you want to do?
And I'm gonna say, not very good with a sword, are you? And I'm gonna swing at him with the two-handed
This is where
greatsword.
you miss, and then it's just so embarrassing because you gave him shit, and then you failed as well.
The roll is a 5.
As you run up on him with the momentum, you try to do like a jumping slash swing as you like unsheath it, but for some reason you just can't get the footing right, and you come down and it goes clang off to the side of the skeleton, and its head kind of twitches sideways and looks at you in like a knowing told you so way.
Damn it.
You've got to give the insults retroactively after you've done the awesome thing and say, and yeah, before it I said this. That way this
That's no good, because then you just say, oh yeah, I totally meant that.
Yeah,
you say it
that's why you
beforehand,
like
and
you
then
swing
do
the
it.
sword
It's
at
so
him,
much more awesome.
You cut his head off, and then you go, he totally lost his head. Bam! Bum, 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 bum.
It is now Nussan's turn. Nussan, what do you want to do?
Okay, well, immediately, again, kind of with the footwork, I work my way around just behind him, and then I go for, while he's distracted with moment. Of course, this is all just basically fluff. It makes no difference in game. But then I go to try and rake the sun wheel down across the spine, just below the rib cage.
Okay.
I'm not here for fortune and fame, hero. Nobody needs my inspiration.
Okay, that's going to be a hit. Go ahead and roll me damage.
Okay. And the damage is bump. 6 plus, because he's in combat with an ally, within 5 feet, I get to roll a sneak attack.
Okay.
So 9 damage in total.
Okay. You do exactly what you said. Your blade caresses across. Well, not caress. That's a little. That's not violent enough.
Oh yeah.
Your blade rakes across his rib cage, taking out
shivers.
chunks. Several little bits of bones hit the floor and do like that clattering noise that like a chicken bone makes when it's dried out and you drop it on the floor. But he's not down. He staggers from the force of the blow, but he's still up.
As he staggers, then I draw back. This time I haven't got the momentum behind me properly, but I actually reel back and then I drive my fist forward, trying to just slam it into his spine where he's already a little bit off balance.
Sure. Attack roll.
17.
Okay, that's a hit. Roll me some damage.
I don't know why I bother giving inspiration. You don't need it.
6 bludgeoning, so 12 in total.
Okay, so how much damage have you done all in all?
In total,
21.
that would be 21.
Okay, so that's killing blow. Drop the hammer.
As my fist comes forward, once again, it just like smacks into the spine, but feeling the spine starting to yield, I just grip it and just drive it forward to the full extent of my punch, and then yank it back as fast as I can, just completely dislocating the spine and just snapping it.
So violent.
Which causes the front, the top part, to bob forward quite suddenly, and his head smacks Mormond on the brow.
Dexterity
Take
check.
him by surprise and just like, oh,
Nope.
As he does this,
flinging bones at my
I yell
face.
from behind the nearby coffins.
The problem with skeletons is they're totally spineless.
Mormon, do you wish to dodge? You want to make a reflex check to see if you dodge the bits that he just knocked at you?
all right.
Is that dex saving throw?
reflex.
This is fantastic.
Please work, please work, please work. 13.
Yeah, that seems good enough to me. The bits that he just tried to launch at you, you duck slightly and they fly over your head.
To be fair, his head's a lot lower, so it's,
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, that definitely helps. It's like,
And with
whoa,
that,
watch
the
it.
combat is concluded. You guys have survived your first fight, your first real fight, anyways.
Okay, immediately the combat ends. I go,
Quick, after Necromancer, he went down here. Oh, there's a tunnel.
I turn around trying to figure out where this is coming from.
let's be honest, with your perception, you're the one person who might know where I am.
A tunnel
How
where?
much did you roll for the stealth? Actually, roll 19. That's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Everybody, as you go to the tunnel, give me a perception check.
Okay.
Perception or investigation? Perception.
Just perception to spot things.
Okay.
11, 17, 17, 8.
10.
Okay.
11, 17, 17, 10.
Davian Dax, you see that there's a tunnel that runs down into the earth, taking a steep incline, like a big dive down into the earth where the caster or the mage or whatever he is disappeared, presumably into the wall from your previous perspective. Mormond and Nosson, as you walk that direction, you catch out of the corner of your eye that there's a person inside the casket that he was like fiddling with, you presume from the sound of the moving stone or whatever. It's popped open slightly and you can just make out a nose.
Does it look like, a
it
recently
has a
dead,
nose?
or is there color in the flesh, or is it pallid like dead flesh?
Did you want to go and look?
Yeah. Seeing that, I'm like, hold it, and I quickly check out what's going on.
I'll rush over. Not moving, is it?
I say,
If it's important, call me back. I'm gonna rush this direction so that you can pull us back if there's something that needs to be pulled back for.
Go,
Otherwise, at least I'll get
Adabi, go with him. Keep him safe.
I'm gonna follow the little man.
Okay, as you enter the tunnel, the earth starts to rumble a bit. How far into the tunnel do you want to go?
I cast guidance on myself as we move,
Okay.
and I would like to make a. Can I check to see if the surroundings is like I look around? Do they look like they're secure? Does it look like it's going to break apart? Would there be investigation?
This
or-
tunnel. Yeah, go ahead and give me an investigation.
$18.
18.
Okay. It looks as though, I mean, you're not really experienced with mining or anything of that sort, but it looks like it was cobbled together in a hurry. It looks like this place was dug very, very quickly, like in a rush. The walls appear to be coated with some kind of weird red-black slime that seems to be acting as a mortar or like some kind of amalgam to keep it all from collapsing inwards. It seems like it'll hold as far as you can tell. Like I said, this isn't your area of expertise, but it seems like it'll hold.
Okay, I keep running forwards then.
Davi, it might
Okay.
hold. I think so. I'm not sure.
The road
Keep going.
splits, or I'm sorry, the tunnel splits, left or right.
Survival. I look at the ground. Are there footprints, the stuff? Can I do survival check?
Yes, you can. Go for it.
Davi, do you know anything about survival and stuff? I don't.
I do a survival check. Oh wait, I don't have.
I'm translating for the rules.
Let's see. Rolls 9 and 14.
Okay, Dax, you don't see anything on the floor. Then again, it's very, very dark in here on approaching pitch black.
I've got
you're not able to
night
see
vision.
very well.
Can Adabi see in the dark?
Okay, so it's very, very dim light for you right now because it's basically pitch black for anybody else.
Okay, I bring out my
Davi-
stone anyway because
I'm going to cast Dancing Lights so we can at least see where we're going.
Okay, cast that dancing lights, and he's also bringing out his.
It's gonna look like a rave in that tunnel.
The system is down. The system is down.
Adavi, take the stone. That way you've got 5 lights. The stone will last for an hour. I don't need it.
I don't meet enough people who know anything about strong bad. It makes me happy whenever I do.
All right, so I take the stone and we're heading. Do we see anything, like you said, like looking for footprints or any sign of where this person might have gone?
Davi, there are a number of footprints here, but the ones that you're thinking that you're looking for that appear to be human-sized by comparison to the rest look like they're going off to the left. Are your lights up right now?
Yes.
Okay, so 4 little motes of light dance out of your rows, making kind of like a sing-songy chime, like a ding, ding, ding. Like as they fly around, they make like little chimey noises almost. Imperceptible to anybody else, but since you summon them, you can hear them. They can be in any color that you like, and they will do whatever you want.
What colors? Come on, tell us.
They're purple and gold.
All of them purple?
No, they're purple and... What? You don't like purple?
Just you could have had all 4 different colors and...
Look, we're in a hurry down here, okay?
There are 3 lights. Someone say?
4 lights.
Splat, I assume that if we were stealth, we wouldn't be moving at full pace, like run pace.
No, not at all.
So,
You'd
I'm
actually
not
be
gonna bother
slower than half pace.
Okay.
Adavi, which way?
Left.
I bum rush down left, and I shout behind us up the tunnel.
We've got the trail. We're going left at the fork if you want to follow.
Bum rush.
Okay, they can't hear you. You're too far.
I don't know that. I might know that we're too far. Okay.
I was just letting the rest of the group know.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast message, so I can send a message directly to Nosun.
Okay.
And hopefully we can do this while we're moving.
Not to be able to see
What range
him?
does message have? Do you need to be able to see him? Yeah.
I'm checking it
120
right
meters.
now.
Oh no.
However,
I think it goes through things. He just needs to know where I am.
Yeah, he needs to know where you are, but doesn't need to like actually be able to see you. I remember this being one of the weird spells that you can do that with.
Cast it through solid objects if you're familiar with a target and know it is beyond a barrier. So yes.
However, the path is curving, so you're casting it through pretty thick earth right now. It says here that 3 foot of wood will block the spell.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. It says it doesn't have to follow a straight line, though, and it can travel freely around corners and through openings. So as long as it's
go for it then.
Yeah. All right, so
he's basically saying where it has to get to, and the spell is working out the path of least resistance in order to get
there. Yeah. It should have an idea that it's going straight back where we came in.
Okay, as we hurry... Sorry.
Go ahead. I'm just gonna tell Nosun that we're going left at the first left. We're following a trail. Keep up with us, quick.
Also, I need to put on like chase music.
Hear this voice in my head. Is that right?
You've had this before. He's impeded your brain a few times.
Yeah, you can whisper back to. Last time we said you couldn't communicate. Did you want to know what's inside of the sarcophagus before you go?
Yeah. Like while they've been running down there, I've been looking at the sarcophagus.
Okay, so as the message arrives, you peer into the sarcophagus with Mormond, and you see the body of a woman, not entirely pallid just yet. It seems as though she's been...
Press my finger to her neck, check her pulse.
There is none.
Is there any sign of blood?
Yes, her throat has been slit.
There we go, then.
And there's quite a bit of blood just flowing out of the wound. Around her neck is a string of black pearls. She's wearing a purple dress with gold trim, and it looks as though her body is not laying there like at rest. It looks like somebody like picked it up and like shoved it in there when they heard you on the way in, which was the sound of the sarcophagus being opened.
Okay.
Damn though, purple with gold.
I curse.
Some nice
audibly.
Taste there.
I start pressing my hand to the wound, seeing this wound, and thinking, "Oh!" And I check with my other hand to the pulse, and the pulse is all gone. The blood isn't actually flowing from the wound.
I mean, I like the idea that your first thought was to check for the pulse, and you put your fingers there, and you just go straight into her neck, like, oh.
Well,
give me a
once the
medicine
rest
check.
of the information was there, yeah, okay, her throat slit. Okay, quickly try to stop the bleed. Oh wait, the blood isn't flow. She's dead.
Medicine check from Mormond and from Nasan, please.
Okay.
And since I have the
terrible.
Since I have the glowing stone from Dax, I'm gonna leave the dancing lights at the corner, so when they follow us, they'll see where they are or see where we went.
Okay. The lights can't be more than 20 feet from one another, though, like in a daisy chain.
Okay.
So you can't leave one behind if you're getting more than 20 feet from it because they have to be within 20 feet of each other.
You could leave one 60 feet behind by chaining them. Just run with the trail
so
of them
if you chain 3 of them, it would be 60 feet behind you, and then I think you still have to concentrate. And I'm not sure. I think you can get 120 feet from that, but you'll lose your light
They
source.
only last a minute, though, don't they?
It's a minute, yeah. It
So
doesn't last long.
Probably just leave the stone, to be honest, at the fork on the left.
All right. Yeah, that's probably a better option. I'll drop the stone.
Okay.
Drop the stone. As we go
Dropped.
ahead, noticing that his dancing lights only give light out to 20 feet, I go,
Adavi, I can see in the dark a bit better. I'll go ahead just out of your radius so that if we come across something, then they won't see me maybe as much in the dark.
Sounds fine to me.
okay, I rush forward.
Don't
30
get
feet.
too far ahead though.
Yeah.
Okay. The corridor starts to tighten. As you're going down the corridor, you notice that it becomes a lot warmer, too, such to the point that it starts to feel very, very humid. And give me a perception check, please. Meanwhile, for the
Dex.
medicine check that you two gave us, it's just Dax, yes. For the medicine check that I got from Nusan and from Mormond, the bleeding seems a little intense for a dead woman, but more than that, you can't say. Underneath the black pearls is a black iron medallion that's been put around her neck. At the bottom of the medallion is the figure of a bone hand, and along both sides of it are tentacles which wreath the background of the hand.
I go the pearls, and I reach for the pearls on around her neck, and then I stop and I glance at Nusan, and instead I reach for the medallion and pull that off.
Okay, having removed the medallion, the bleeding stops. What was like a flow, an outflow, becomes kind of a dribble.
I immediately throw the medallion across the room at a wall.
Okay, it clatters across the floor and ends up in a pile of rubble off to the right.
What the hell is going on? Moment, or exchange that for whatever occurs. Or in the hells.
I have no idea. Something's not right about that thing. Is she okay?
She's not. She was bleeding before. She's not bleeding now. There's no pulse. I don't think she's alive. Moment. You have a closer look. Don't touch the pearls. Name of the gods, the first thing that anyone will suspect is that we killed her for them. We've told practically everyone we've met that we need black pearls.
I look around at the bones and say, I think it's going to be clear that something more is going on here.
Yeah, and the last thing we need is for them to be blaming the outsiders for any of it.
Damn it. I take another look and make sure she's definitely dead rather than now coming back to life once this thing's been taken off or whatever.
She is absolutely dead. She is dead as hell.
Okay.
Adavi, are they done back there yet? It's getting warm in here.
Well, to be fair,
actually
you've
like
been
your
running
back
like
from
mad.
this one
We
at all?
probably had this conversation in the space of
Oh,
time.
true,
It took you to
yeah.
do that.
Dax, you don't notice anything other than it's getting warmer. It's
warm.
too dim and it's
I
too
recast
dark.
guidance on myself and keep going.
Moment. Adavi spoke to me in my mind. They've met some sort of crossroads down in this tunnel. Look, I'm going to go down there. We need someone. Can you go to the surface quickly, inform someone, raise the guard, at least seal off this area? The last thing we need is to, I don't know, for something to come back through some other means. Maybe the temple is just across the way. Quickly go and raise the alarm and then follow.
All right. And I set off for the door.
I immediately start heading for the tunnel. They said something about going to the left, I think. Make sure you go to the left. And then I dart into the tunnel.
All right.
Okay.
And all he hears is, don't touch the pearl.
He's already picked them up. He stuffed them in his pockets. He's gone.
All right, and so you're headed back up to the
exit.
surface? Okay,
Yep.
so you rocket out towards the exit looking for anyone. Dax, as you go down deeper into the earth, it seems to get warmer and warmer, and there's the smell of almost like morning breath, or when someone exhales, and it's not super unpleasant, but it definitely is just stop that.
It has an
It's
odor.
kind of a weird musky odor as you get deeper into the earth.
I mean,
Oh.
Adavi's
And
30
the
feet behind
corridor
me,
is
and
the same.
we're moving pretty fast. 6 seconds we're going 60 feet, so 10 feet a second. So I shout back in,
Can you smell that?
Yeah, can I
There's a
smell
path
it?
to
Do I
your
notice
right,
how hot it's getting?
perpendicular to the path you're on. Yes, you can.
Okay, I get to the junction.
Mhm.
Davi, which way?
I also check. And ooh, yeah, I'm gonna add guidance to that.
Okay.
Oh, 1, 2,
How long did your inspiration last?
10 minutes. We've been hurrying pretty fast, so I assume that's still up. So yeah, I got 16. And I recast guidance.
I'm catching up to you, but I'm not noticing anything. I rolled a 9. I can't see it. I've lost it.
It's those purple and gold lights. It's weird.
So Dax, as you look downward at the floor, trying to figure out where things have gone to, you notice that the floor has become stone and it's been slightly disturbed. But at this point, you'll just have to make a judgment call.
Is it another T-junction?
It's perpendicular, so there's a line, and this one's popping off the side, almost like the Tetris piece with the 3 on the bottom and the 1 in the middle.
Yeah, so it's just
got
T-junction.
So it's a T-junction, yeah.
Davi,
just rotated.
I can't tell. How far is Nos behind us? Maybe he can tell.
Yeah, do we have any idea of how much distance we traveled?
You've covered quite a bit. What's your movement speeds?
We're both 30.
Okay, so you've been moving about 30, and then you've been running, so that's going to up it up to about 60, and you've been running for a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been running for a decent amount of time right now. If you want to wait for like 10 seconds, I'm sure that Noson will be there. Aside from that, you're pretty deep down. It feels as though you've gone down a long ways. The pitch of the lay of the land has not changed. You've just been diving downwards into the earth over the last minute or two while you've been running.
Does one of these paths go down and the other one not? Or do they both go down?
They both appear to dive downwards in differing ways. Like the one, if you stay on it, dives much steeper. The one that way still dives, but it looks like it hooks off in a different direction.
I want to cast Detect Magic and see if I can find this dude.
Sure.
So I have to concentrate for this, but for 10 minutes, I should be able to see any magical presence within 30 feet. So do I see any lingering presence of this dude in any of the hallways?
There doesn't appear to be some. If you really, really focus, go ahead. I'm going to do this a little weird. Give me a perception check while you've got the magic up. Because anything that would there would be a very, very slight trace that you'd have to have a pretty decent roll to sniff it out.
19.
Yeah, 19.
There it is. And so you focus your mind, and sitting there for a few moments, you don't get anything on the initial path, but you galvanize your willpower and you really, really peer into the immaterial. And you just see the faintest tingling to the path that splits off to the right, way off in the distance. Like this is clearly like a trail that's been left behind, a very, very slight miasma, if you will, a slight glowing after effect.
Which way, Davi?
I'm going to shove Dax. Right. Go right. I'm going to stay here and wait for Noson. Don't get too far ahead.
I'm gonna get really far ahead. Just be quick.
I hurry.
All right, and have you regrouped up?
No.
Well, I'm imagining I'm still running. Davi is split up from Dax. Dax is now moving on ahead. Davi's waiting at the crossroads. I'm legging it. I'm moving as fast as I can. I'm not conserving my energy in any way for the return trip. I am putting everything into this run. And what about Mormont? Because you didn't have actually very far to go.
He also moves
Sure.
less than us.
Mormont, you burst up and out of the earth, and you're standing in the middle of the cemetery. What do you want to do?
Well, do I see any guardsmen who happen to be walking by?
You do not. There's none in the general vicinity of the cemetery from where you're standing.
I'm gonna run straight for the temple, and
Okay.
and also just see if there's any other people around at all.
You leg it for the temple. The temple does have a few people that are there giving their prayers and that sort of thing, and you can also see Mary Shelby giving some kind of benediction or maybe some slight prayer to everybody else.
I'm gonna run up to Mary Shelby, try and not make a huge clattering noise as I approach, but get quickly over there.
By the way, I realized we sent the fighter, who is not particularly good at talking to people, to go get the town to come and help.
It's what's done is done.
Yep.
Well, generally, the first thing you do is just, guards! They're going to respond no matter
And then
what.
they go down and they go,
He's got
you
the most
murdered
subtle
her! And you
I
go,
what are you?
"Oh,
Then
la,
it appears
la,
to be
la, la."
necromancy at work.
I'm not sure if I should like charge into a church shouting necromancy.
Well, what's wrong with
Aaron
that?
Rollwood.
I do that every week.
The fell hand of doom has fallen upon Woodley.
For the people down in the tunnel, you feel the earth tremble again.
I'm still running.
Okay, as Dax you run up to Mary Shelby, you like grab her robe. She's got her eyes closed right now, and she's saying a prayer out loud for the congregation. How did you want to approach her?
I'm just gonna like step up beside her and quietly say, "In the crypt, there's a necromancer. You need to raise the guards."
One eye slides open, and she looks at the people that are there for the service and says, "I apologize. If you'll give me but a moment, we'll finish our prayers this afternoon. Please stop by." And she grabs onto your shoulder and takes you over to the office. And once you're inside the door, she slides it shut and says, "What is this on about?" Yeah, her other eye's definitely open.
We went into the crypt. There was skeleton warriors. There was a necromancer. He was getting away. The others have chased him.
The crypt? Why were you down in the crypt?
Later, you need to get the guards and get them to lock the area down. There's a dead woman in there.
Okay, sure. Yeah, okay, come with me. And
also,
she
has,
starts...
like, as we're running, I say, and it's the one who has the pearls. Try and make sure they don't get taken or anything.
Are you going to let her go get Addie, or are you going to head back to your friends? Are you going to go with her?
I'm going to say, you go get help. I'm going to go down and follow him.
Okay. And so you split off. She's at a full run heading across town right now. And then you run back down into the catacombs, around the corner, into the room that you were initially in. By this point, it's probably been a good 5 minutes or so since everybody else went down in the tunnel, and you and Nussan were looking inside of the sarcophagus. There's still the matter of the dead body that's laying on the floor with the knife buried in its back in front of the sarcophagus. But do you want to go down to the left, or what do you want to do? Do you want to go down to the tunnel, or how do you want to proceed?
I'll run for the tunnel. But at the mouth of the tunnel, I'll pause for a moment and look over at the sarcophagus and go, damn it, and carry on running.
Okay. Did anybody get the pearls?
Nope. They're still on it.
So leaving that behind...
I at least warned Mary about it.
Okay. Sure. As you head down into the tunnel, you start diving down into the earth with the rest of the party. So let me get a rough idea of how the party is arranged right now. Dax is obviously out in the front. Davi, you waited for Nussan, is that true?
At this point, I would have caught up.
Yeah,
and they were... second T-junction, yeah.
You said Nossa's about 10 seconds behind us as I was there, so they're probably like one turn behind me then.
Okay. I'm going to need people to make constitution checks because you've been running for a while.
This is not going to be pretty. A save or just a...
Is it constitution saving roll?
Let me see what it is for running for long periods of time.
It's either saving throw or it's athletics. One of the two.
We don't have...
Oh, athletics is strength, so I'm assuming it would be a constitution save.
Am I needing to do this yet, or have I not been running long enough?
You haven't been running long enough, don't worry about it.
Also, you're a dwarf. You got endurance for days.
I'll be fine.
Not without his ale.
Oh, that's true. When was the last time you drank?
This morning.
Oh, you're practically dead.
What's the thing? We dwarves are natural sprinters.
You need emergency ale on you.
He's going to return to the crypt and then just fall in one of the sarcophagi, and he's done.
He keeps it in a barrel around his neck like a St. Bernard.
So
goes into hibernation if he doesn't get enough ale.
I just
Go ahead for right now, give me athletics checks, please.
Oh god, really? Athletics? Damn it, that's not good for me.
Yeah, athletics check from everybody that's running, please. I'll figure out the specific rule later on.
I add my guidance to that.
16, 10, and 11.
If it's a athletics check, then I can add my guidance. So, 14.
Okay.
16, 10.
I recast guidance.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I am not very athletic. I am heaving and huffing and just wheezing on this trip down here.
Actually, given how much time has passed, I may as well roll my inspiration on that as well. Which is 1d6,
well,
isn't
only
it?
5 minutes have passed, so we've still got another 5 minutes.
Well, that's when he left. You cast it on me right at the beginning of the combat, then you ran down the tunnel, then like a minute or 2 minutes late.
Combat was 12 seconds. Like, we powered through that pretty quick.
I'm still going to say that enough time has passed. It's probably sunny. So, yeah, I've got 22.
Okay. So everybody's endurance seems to hold out as they run down into the tunnels. I'm going to need a list of light sources, please, because it is pitch black down in here.
My vision.
Who has what?
I've got a
Nassan
torch that I'm carrying with me.
Yeah, if Nassan has caught up, then I can just do another dancing lights.
Okay. So you're running with a torch and dancing lights. Dax has his dark vision, which puts him in dim light. Are you holding the... No, you left the stone behind. So Dax, you'll have...
Dark vision puts you at normal light, but it's monochrome for 60 feet.
I'm pretty sure it gives you dim light. Let me take a look. If it's pitch black.
It was the one system where it didn't have a dim
black,
light.
It's not dim lighting, it's pitch blackness.
Okay.
Yeah, you have dim light, so you technically have a disadvantage on
in which case,
everything perception-based.
I cast light on my shield.
Okay, so your shield is now glowing.
No, I'll do it on a stone. That way I can have a stone in my other hand.
There are no stones. It appears to be an area that's been picked up, and as they've been digging, it's becoming strange. I mean, if you want to give me a perception check, I can tell you more.
No, it's okay. I'll pull out one of the sheets of parchment that I have in my pack, and I'll cast that on that.
Okay. All right, and you continue downwards. As time goes along, it continues to twist and turn and dive down into the earth. Can somebody give me a survival check if you want to?
$10, 16, and 21.
Dax and Nazon, you notice that as you go further, the path appears to be going to the... You think on all the different directions and turns you've taken, you think it's going northwards. You think, but it's still diving downwards at a pretty steep incline. So that's just an inkling. You don't have a compass or anything with you. Perception checks, please. You've been running for about 15 minutes now.
Before we go forward, I mean, while me and Adavi met up, we haven't discussed what we've done yet.
Okay, if you wanted to discuss it, did you want to stop, or are you going to be like running or messaging in between each other? How did you want to do that?
If we want to be running, like I'm assuming Davi's going to say, yeah, he went that way, we need to go, in which case we'll go, but I will specifically say we need to leave, we need some way for Mormon to find it. I only told him to go to the left, not to go to the left and then the right.
Oh, that's true.
It was left and left, wasn't it that the fork went to the right, but you didn't go that way or something?
Yeah, we turned to the left at the fork, but then down there's a T-junction, it turns to the right, and we got to go to the right.
He genuinely doesn't know about
So you did go to the right?
Yeah. We went left and then we went right. So, yeah, anyway, if you follow well, we'll see. We'll leave it to that. But yeah, so, Adavi, have you got anything we can leave here?
I don't. I'm going to try sending him a quick message. Let's see if I can find him. And I'm going to send a message to Mormon if I can get a hold of him. Ring, ring.
The message lands.
Hello?
Can I reply to this?
Message.
Yes.
Hello?
You can whisper a reply back.
For a moment, I'm just like, what? And then I say, what? What was that?
Do not be alarmed. It is only Adavi. You're going to go left at the first junction and then right at the second junction. If we meet another junction, I'll let you know.
See,
Keep up. Be quick.
The benefit of the telepathic voice is that you're not out of breath.
All right, so Mormon.
Super calm and in control in my mind.
Soothing.
Right, thanks. And I
at the next junction. Continue for 120 feet.
Then Mormon goes down the wrong junction. It goes, please take a U-turn in the next possible location.
As you descend down into the earth.
El número dos.
That's true. Does Adavi think in Myanmar?
Yeah, probably.
You're buggered. You're like...
I imagine he would...
But anyway, let's move on. You got the message. You understood it. Let's assume that everyone thinks in no language in their internal monologue.
Yeah, I'm hurrying down. My perception was terrible, so I'm still hurrying down.
Oh, right, the perception rolls. Perception rolls were 17 and 5.
Okay, Davi, as you look at the walls, you notice that they appear to be accumulating some kind of mucus, and the reddish-black that was present when you were way before has become much more red. When you put your hands up against the wall, there's a squelch, like a disgusting kind of depression left in the wall as you put your hand on it, and it seems as though it almost wants to grab or grip you. Smell is becoming more intense as you get deeper down as well, and the heat, while not oppressive, it's really, really warm at this point.
I rolled a 22.
Okay. You would get the same impressions that he has. You would have noticed all the things that he has at this point. Plus the fact that the walls seem to be pulsating a little bit.
Okay, I take that piece of parchment, and as I'm running, I fold it, and then start tearing little chunks off. Tiny little chunks, and cast light on each of them, and drop them behind me.
Okay. Since it's one action, it's going to take you 6 seconds to cast for each chunk.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, literally, so every 60 feet, there'll be a little tiny bit of light.
As we're running, and I start noticing this, I'm like, Davy, where are we? And I slow. Wait. And I reach out with my sun wheel, and I just drag it across the wall, just testing its resistance, testing how it responds. Something wrong here.
When you drag the sun wheel down the wall, there's a loud, like, exhalation that comes down the hallway from the direction you were running into, and the walls start to shudder. Mormon, as you come around the second corner, the right, you hear the earth physically shake, and you hear a crumbling from behind you. Being a dwarf, you would know that that's the sound of a cave-in that's slowly coming from behind you. The tunnel has collapsed from that direction.
I start running as fast as I possibly can, more so than I already was.
Black blood starts to ooze from the wall where you drug your sun wheel down it.
Gods above, where are we, Adavi?
I don't know,
something's
but I
throat.
don't like it. Something is definitely alive down here, and it's not just us.
I've noticed this. I'm still hurrying.
Yeah, you've missed all your perception checks. You're just rushing your ass off down into the
I don't
beast.
Did we? Mormon was the one who heard that. Was there any chance that we were going to be able to hear it based on our perception rolls?
You heard You're too deep. You heard the shudder, and you heard like the shaking, and you saw the blood, but you didn't hear the collapse. Whereas he specifically heard the collapse.
Are we finding the little shining pieces of paper?
Yes, you can follow them.
I stopped before then in order to test this, and I hadn't started walking again. I mean, is Adavi just barreling on?
I'm following Dax.
Adavi, I don't. I'm actually going to attack the wall.
You're going to attack the wall. Okay, go for it. Give me an attack roll with advantage. It's not going anywhere.
How am I going to miss this?
I'm just saying.
I'm thinking dodge it to me.
Critical fails happen.
True.
See? Critical fail did happen. You take a swipe at the wall, and this time you get a good piece of it. Like, you really just, like, chunk off a big wedge of the wall, which slurps to the floor, making a sickening, like, sound when it hits the ground. Blood sprays outwards a little bit and gets onto, like, your knees and your shins a little bit. This time there's no exhalation, though, and the bleeding appears to be kind of coagulated slightly.
At this point, how far away is Moment?
Mormon should be coming up on you pretty soon.
Given the darkness, would he be able to, assuming this is a relatively straight passageway, would he be able to see the light once he's taken that turn?
I do have dark vision.
Yeah, he has dark vision, so he would definitely, and also he's experienced under the ground, like he lived in a mine his entire life, essentially, and so this is a little odd.
The walls aren't made of stone anymore.
Yeah, you've definitely noticed the composition of the walls, and having heard the cave-in behind you, you can draw your own conclusions, but you get the feeling that this is not good. As you continue running, you see Noson standing there, holding his wheel, staring at the wall.
From my knees downward, I am now caked in blood.
When I have noticed the transition between stone and most definitely not stone.
Yes.
Was it sudden or just gradual?
It's very gradual. Meaning where you first came in, it was like stone and earth. And like every 60 to 100 feet you go, the composition changes a little bit. And it's very, very slight. But by the point you get to where Noson is, it's definitely much more biological than it was previously.
Yeah,
to the point where the walls are bleeding and shit.
Are you saying that this is a biological attack?
As I hear
I run up to the two of them.
padding feet, I turn to gaze in that direction, not having the best night vision, you know. I probably don't recognize it until he's close, so I ready my weapon. I'm just
Is the cave-in still following me, or did that stop a while back?
It stopped once it ran out of Earth to collapse. Once
That's
it became more of a nasty, fleshy substance, that didn't collapse.
Yeah, I run up to him and go, "What the hell is this place?"
You know caves better than I do.
This is no cave.
Well, on that, I suppose I agree. Adavi and Dax ran off that way. They may be half a minute ahead. Have you seen anything like this? Whatever this is, I've got to confess, I fear going deeper.
I've got no idea, but I fear going deeper is our only option. I heard a cave-in as I was
way
coming
out?
in. No, the place collapsed.
Well, how far back? The T-junction? Further?
Was it?
It was back towards the entrance. It was like the 30 to 50 feet that were on the end that the catacombs were attached to.
So the T-junction would still be okay?
Yeah, the T-junction's fine.
We might still be able to use the T-junction, but it could just do the same as this thing does.
We need to find Adabi. We need to find Dax. Going any deeper is folly. Come. Leaving them behind is not an option, but... And I start moving.
You've been hauling ass for a little while, leaving little breadcrumbs behind, and you come to another T-junction, although this is more of a cross. In front of you is a door. Strangely enough, it seems very, very out of place, such that you don't really believe your eyes when you first see it. To the left of the door, there's a dead end that just seems to stop right there. And to the right, there's what looks like a very, very sodden, very, very abused ladder which dives down further into the earth. Give me a perception check, please.
Okay.
Very nice.
I'm going to add my guidance to that.
Okay.
That was a 19.
Guidance, most abusable spell.
20. I did say, do you want me to, not use guidance? So I recast guidance. 22.
Okay. With a 22, from down to the right, you get the faintest smell, and it only stands out because of the stink of the rest of this place and the overbearing humidity and heat of it. You get the slightest inkling of fresh air and salt water.
Okay, I quickly whip out a quill. I write on a piece of parchment. To the right, down, is fresh air and salt water. Possibly some sort of bottom of the island, some sort of underwater cove type thing. I don't know. Put it down. I try the door.
The door in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You pull on the door, and it lets out a loud as it swings open. And as you look into the room, you find yourself face to face with several very odd creatures. Each one has skin that is a pallid gray, no eyes to be spoken of, a completely blank top of its head, smooth, almost like a dolphin. There's a small slit right where the two eyes would be, right in between. A mouth which is elongated and pulled back across flesh with long hooked teeth that hang out of it. And two nose holes. No nose to be spoken of, just a flat surface, like Voldemort, essentially. They're clad in what looks like desiccated leather armor, and in each hand they're holding black wrought iron chunky blades, essentially. When you open the door, they all look in your direction. You hear...
Bonus action, hide.
You hide.
And guidance, which I cannot cast again because I don't want to make the noise for it, makes 18.
Okay. We will have... Let's see, I gotta roll opposed here.
What I do to hide is, how is the fleshy, can you, in theory, climb up the fleshy, wall by, digging your hand in a little bit?
In before he tries to do that, and his fan slowly gets sucked in, and then he gets melted by the wall.
I don't know. I haven't tried that, so I don't know if you get sucked into the wall.
You quickly duck sideways, and the walls around you have become increasingly disgusting and fleshy, and trying to nestle yourself up against the side of it, two of the creatures inside the room just continue clicking and going. It's important to note that it's pitch black in here. There is no light source whatsoever. However, you hear the sound of... and you hear a deafening screech. A sort of otherworldly, multi-voiced, honking... It's very, very difficult to describe. You've never heard anything like it in your life. And it becomes readily apparent that they've caught the smell of something. No, Davi, you arrived, by the way.
Hi,
having heard the
everybody.
scream down the hallway. The rest of you having run down the hallway, you hear a very slight, like off in the distance. Like, you hear a screech, but it's not very loud. It's very, very suppressed, like it's coming a long, long ways.
If it's very, very soft, and in all fairness, probably not going to hear it, because we've been running for a while, and as conditioned to physical activity as Narson is, he's going to be breathing heavily at this point. His pulse will be very audible in his ears, that sort of thing.
I'm going to come to a complete stop. Can I see the door? Can I see the hole in the floor?
You can. It's cracked open, but it's very, very, very dark. You're holding a torch right now, aren't you?
No.
You got your dancing lights?
Got the dancing lights, yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you can see the dim outline of a slightly cracked door in front of you. Give me a perception check, please.
Sure.
I'm kind of imagining this like Stranger Things with like all that biological crap, and then me just going out the side of it.
Nice roll of 3.
Okay. You're so exhausted from this run that you come up panting and just you do see, however. Well, actually, he would have to beat your hide check. He doesn't see you.
Okay,
I
as the
imagine
Davi comes,
if Dax wanted to be seen, he could make
like
himself
as the
seen.
Davi comes like almost past me, not noticing anything at all, I kind of reach out and go.
I give a little start, and I look straight down at Dax.
Roll for composure. Did you go, ah?
The door creaks open slightly. As
By
it
the way,
opens a little bit
I'm
wider.
constantly holding an action, which is if anyone comes through that door, I would like to cast. Screw it. I would just cast a full out guiding bolt. Like, I'm kind of scared. But can I like roll an Arcana or a Nature or something to look at these things and see if I know what they are or have heard of them?
Yeah, you would have to peek out from where you're at, but go ahead and.
Well, I mean,
give
I
an
saw them
Arcana
before,
check.
so do I know them?
Yeah, you would have never seen anything like this before.
Okay.
Your character's been through some shit, and this is a
Different.
new phenomena.
Okay.
It's different shit.
I whispered to Darling.
There's 3 of them in there. One of them is looking for me. The other 2 don't seem to have noticed me. Down to the right, there's some sort of water, some fresh air. Or we could fight those things behind the door. I think.
Door creaks. And you hear.
Davi, how much power do you have left?
What do you mean, how much power?
A footstep comes out the door.
Do I see the foot?
You do.
In
If
which...
you're peeking around and looking, I assumed you kind of ducked down the little sideways thing.
as soon as like a target, like a physical target comes into view, I'm casting Guiding Bolt, but not just a foot.
Mm-hmm.
Davi?
What do you mean, how much power?
How many spell slots do you have left? Because you used Detect
2.
Magic, didn't you? And didn't
2.
Rare Sickness cost you 1 as well?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So 1.
But you have your Meta Magic points that you can convert into an extra spell slot.
Yes, you do.
So you've got.
Yeah, I don't know how
2.
that works.
Oh,
You just say that you have an extra spell slot, so you have an extra
this
level
level,
1 right
yeah.
now.
Didn't you
There's
also
nothing
use
else you can
gold?
spend it on.
Ray of Frost?
that's
That
cantrip.
that's a cantrip.
Oh, right, okay.
So
Sorry.
yeah, you've got 2.
Davi, when that thing shows its face, kill it with everything we've got.
Footstep. The slight squelch of a boot on top of something moist and sticky.
What is it?
I don't know. They sound like clicky things and they have dolphin heads.
Well, not dolphin heads. It's just like they're shaved smooth.
They've got super smooth foreheads like One Punch Man. You've heard that bard tale, right?
Davi has played One Punch Man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, I'm gonna...
Another step.
Davi,
You've got very, very little time.
Hide.
All right, I'm gonna back up down the corridor and see if there's any place to hide.
Just
Is there anything that
push
can
into
hide
the
my
squishiness.
massive self?
Push into the squishiness.
I am.
I gotta be honest,
squishiness.
these things are super unobservant if they haven't noticed this conversation by now.
Nasan, you see a Davi up in front of you as you come down the corridor.
Guiding lights going around his forehead, like...
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
You see a glow
Creatures
coming
are
from in
blind,
front
though,
of
aren't
you.
they?
What was that,
That would
sorry?
be for you to find out.
The
I
things
couldn't hear
appear
what he
to be
said.
blind.
Plus, you haven't arrived yet. Away with you.
Shut up.
Away
Wait.
with you, metagame.
No,
How-
no, no.
How far are Nosson and
That was
Mormont away?
meta knowledge. Yes.
Nasan just arrived. He's like behind a Davi right now, whereas Mormon probably has about 10, 15 seconds before he arrives if he's really, really hauling ass, and I'll assume he will for expediency's sake.
Okay, in which case, as soon
Why are we stood here?
as they get here, I go,
Oh, I need
Three
to roll
things
perception
behind the
to see if
door.
I notice.
They're coming for
Can you
us.
roll perception?
You ready to take them?
I cast Bless.
Its head creeps around the door and
I
looks
cast
right
Bless.
at you.
Oh,
Right as the bless leaves your hand, you see the head come around the corner and go,
Sacred Flame in the face. No.
okay.
Vicious mocking him in the face. I go, what are you looking at, mate?
All right, go ahead, cast it.
Okay, so Bless is up, by the way, which is a concentration spell, which gives all of you a d4 on all attacks and saving throws. Constantly, while I'm concentrating. And then I'm going to use Vicious Mockery on this guy,
Okay.
which does 4 psychic damage. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And it's to make a wisdom save, or he's at disadvantage on his next attack.
Okay.
Oh, actually, he only does 4 damage if he fails his wisdom save as well.
What was the wisdom save? DC 13?
The DC 13, yeah.
Okay, so he fails his check. As you speak the words, a ripple runs out. It impacts with the creature right in his forehead, and you hear just the same reverberation of that screech. If they didn't know you were here, they know you're here now, and you hear the sound of footfalls from the opposite side of the door, rushing that direction along with the clicks and
I
the
shout,
general
"Shit."
sniffling.
And
It's
then I
not dead, though.
cast-
The one in the door has stepped backwards slightly, but it's still alive.
Okay, in
Adavi
which-
can see it.
Is it still visible?
It stepped back inside the door with your dark vision. Yes, you can see it because you've got the lights up.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Ray of
Reflect
Sickness on
slightly
this
off
guy.
of its skin. Ray of Sickness.
Yes.
Fire away.
$15 up to 20.
Okay. Roll damage.
8.
Okay. With 8 damage, your Ray of Sickness rockets out and impacts right in the creature's throat. It bubbles over its flesh, and you see it slowly stripping and eating away at the flesh that's there as the thing howls and gurgles and then falls to the floor with a nasty thumping squelch. You continue to hear sounds coming from the opposite side of the door right as
Okay.
Mormont arrives.
I'm-
And that's
There's more of them.
probably where we'll leave it for this week.
Oh, please. I admire a good cliffhanger.
Yeah, you all ready and excited?
I don't know
the
really
rage
what's going
in
on. I've
chat.
just arrived and it's all craziness.
Well, you can see us combating something.
Not very well. I haven't got dark vision.
You
Yeah,
can't
I'm
see the
just
lights.
seeing what's
I've got
going
lights
on.
around my
Yeah, the
head.
lights are up.
Yeah, you got lights around your head, but that doesn't necessarily mean I can see what's going on in the room
true.
and stuff like that.
It's
I
true.
can see you very well.
Yeah, you can probably see him, me, the door, dude who's dead.
I saw a spell go off. I have no idea yet. I don't just arrived.
I've been waiting for this. I thought you guys were going to get here in the first session. Like, it's taken so long to get here.
So we found out that the island is apparently some sort of giant turtle, and we're currently walking through its like gullet or something.
That's
You know
the
what?
point. We may have just killed it. We may have just killed the island.
Well,
Yeah, like
no,
not stabbing it earlier, it's now starting to like slowly sink.
We're all doomed.
To be fair, it's not. I want to address chat. It's not mid-combat right now. They killed one, and then combat's about to ensue, and that's going to take us at least like another hour. So I feel
Oh,
like this is a
God.
really, really good stop spot.
An hour?
This-
There's only two
well,
of them.
the next This should be kind of. There's 3.
Wait, I thought there were 3 and I killed. And what?
Shut up before you give things away.
Yeah,
Let's end this if we're going to end it.
There's 6.
We'll open the door and they'll split. And then the top will pop off, and then there'll be another one. There'll be like about dark size.
For
and
the
there'll be 6
record,
of them.
I'm holding my action, so the next guy who shows his head through the door, I'm gonna run up to the door and go, and try and like smack him in the face with the door.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing next episode.
Well, everybody, I'm sorry about the technical issues that have been plaguing us during the course of this run-through. It's really kind of a downer for us as well as for you, but thank you for sticking with us. We appreciate you staying on in.
It sounds a lot
toughing
better
it out
now.
till the end. It does. It sounds better. It has to have been like a latency thing, and then with somebody's
you sound
servers or
super
with
clear
something.
now. Like before, you were the one that was mostly bubbling and robotic. Avak was a little bit for me, and everyone else intermittently. But now it's perfect. So it's like, it must have been Skype.
Yeah, it must have been some. Everything's okay now. It's been a lot of fun for us here today. If you just came in, this is our Roll4It D&D campaign, which is just starting to kick off and look a little bit interesting. We finally made it into combat. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I don't really run combat-heavy campaigns, but we are in it now to win it.
Right. I'm down 1 spell slot.
Should be interesting to see things transpire from here. If you haven't had the chance, think about supporting the show through the Patreon. We've got all kinds of bonus VODs and stuff like that you'll get access to. We're coming up with new rewards every single day to kind of make you guys feel as though it's worth it to help the show out, so we can give you a little something back. As far as where everybody is from, EE, where can we find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on the interwebs over at twitch.tv/Intermission, where I stream every Saturday. You can find me over at youtube.com/Intermission, where I do most of my stuff, including stuff like Planet Coaster and Stellaris and like House of Iron and like pretty much anything else I can be bothered to do. Yeah, so that's cool.
Nice. Anik, where can we find you?
Oh, the usual places where I'm currently on YouTube playing through Stardew Valley, also playing through Civilization 6, also playing RimWorld, and a little bit of Keeper roguelike, as well as collab of Factorio, which is with Bentham and some other friends. On Twitch, I am still getting back to doing Twitch. I did a stream last night for a couple of hours where I started Mass Effect 2, continuation of my save file from Mass Effect 1, so I'm really, really happy to get onto that, and I will be uploading those on YouTube over time. But
what style of play are you going for?
I'm very specifically saying, look, I'm not going to do Paragon or Renegade because it's Paragon or Renegade. I will call it as I go. So, for example, it was mostly Paragon apparently my first run, but I only found that out when I imported the save. I made a couple of choices where it was like, yeah, there's a bad guy. No, go ahead, kill him. I'm not going to step in the way.
What
you see a bad guy, take him out. You know, don't wait for bureaucracy to let him go. That's the Gareth that I want on my team. Follow your gut, mate. Only then I started doubting myself. I was like, oh, he's taking this a little bit to heart. Maybe I shouldn't have said all of that before. May have unleashed terror on the universe.
Shenrir! Where can we find
Hi,
you?
my name's Shen. I'm on Twitch every day at twitch.tv/Shenrir, where I've recently been playing Transport Fever. I'm stuck in this game. It's fantastic. It's basically like Open Transport Tycoon Deluxe from Chris Sawyer, but 3D instead. You can also find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Shenrir2.
Okay. That leaves us with Bentham. Where can we find you and what are you doing?
Hello, I am Mangled Pork Gaming on YouTube for silly reasons, and at Bentham Plays on Twitter. And I play Factorio and occasionally other things, such as Rodina, 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 one of those names. Except at the moment, nothing has been happening because I've not had any time for like the past week. So it's just been the Massa episodes with Avak and so on. And then the occasional Rodina video, maybe. There should be more stuff soon, maybe. I've stopped promising these things now because I can't trust myself.
It's a bitch like that, ain't it? It's a bitch like that. You're like, well, I could promise it, but then I'm going to disappoint people.
Yep. I'm like, hey, there's an episode coming out tomorrow because I've literally already made it. Nope, didn't upload it.
Yeah.
So
3 days later.
Splat! Where are you? What are you doing?
You guys can find me at youtube.com/splattercatgaming, where I dick around, make jokes, make fart noises, and play video games. I am currently playing a little bit of Slime Rancher, some Sunless Seas of Mariner, I just started up the Dwarves, which is by the old THQ people, which actually turned out to be a lot cooler than I expected. And then tomorrow I'll be starting up a series on Maze, which is a game about sentient corn that kidnaps people.
Are you the sentient corn, or are you investigating the...
I appear to be investigating.
I have so many questions.
And they're all very posh in English, all of the corn. They tell jokes. They can't remember each other's names because they all look the same.
It sounds like Rick and Morty. Remember that when they found the channel where humans evolved from corn?
I have not even watched Rick and Morty once. I hear lots of references, though.
It's so good.
I hear lots of references.
They found the channel where an entire universe where sentient life came from corn, essentially, instead of from humans. And,
nice.
Yeah.
They found the planet where everything was on the cob.
Yeah,
the atoms were on the cob.
Yes, the trees were on a cob, the hills were on a cob. No, they had to leave that place.
It's a little too odd. But yeah, we'll be back. We have 2 different shows that we do. We have a show here on Wednesday at 1 o'clock PDT or PST or whatever you want to call it. And then on Sundays, we have our show at 12 o'clock noon Pacific time. It's going to be like 8 p.m. if you're on British time. And we play Dark Heresy on Sunday with Intermission as our GM, where we try to find heretics and burn them.
But I want to find out what's behind the door.
Yeah, you're going to find out. You are going to find out.
I want to find out what happened last session because I have no idea.
Yeah, it's like dolphins that go click.
Oh man, I'm going to be potentially moving into my new house on Tuesday. Oh, the D&D session on the day after is going to be an interesting one.
I thought you said it was the 6th. Isn't the 6th the Wednesday?
No, the 6th is a Tuesday.
Oh, that's right, because there's only 30 days in November. Boy, I'm dumb.
Oh yeah, it's December now.
Yeah.
Where's my advent calendar?
Oh,
yeah. Hooray!
Christmas!
Means I need to do a merry-making giveaway compo video. Wow.
Oh God! I went to the mall today and they already had everything set up for Christmas. They even had like the sitting in Santa's lap thing. And I'm like, oh my God, already?
Did you try to sit in Santa's lap?
It wasn't open. I got there. It was like 8 in the morning. They opened at 9. They opened at 9:30. Santa doesn't have to get there until 9:30.
Busy man. He needs to sleep. So does Splat by the look of it.
I do.
There we are.
That was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing where next week goes. We'll catch you all on Sunday. We'll see you all there. Thanks for coming, everybody, and we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.